Welcome to the People's Receipts. Tap the screen, share the live. Let's get to 25K. You can see the tap goal there at the top. I'm just going to make sure we get live on Twitch and YouTube, and I will be right with you to get this party started. I know, Cass. Nice to see you as well. I love spending time with you guys too. I miss you guys when we're not doing this. Yay. Hello. Hey, Dust Bunny. Hey, Kiki. Hey, Ali. Welcome. Tap the screen, share the live. Welcome, Twitch. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. Hey, just hanging. I saw you earlier this morning too on Steve's live. Good to have you back on YouTube.
Now than computers.
We have so many things to talk about. God. Oh, give me 1 second to load the presentation. I knew I was missing at least I'm always missing one thing. Let me just cast my iPad to the screen. Gosh, it's April 7th. Time flies when you're not having fun. So much fun. What should we start? God, I have so many things to show you guys today. Like every day. I say this all the time. It's getting old every day. It's like, I thought there was news prior to Trump being in the White House. This 24-hour news cycle I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's like what used to be a 24-hour news cycle. It's now, or what is now, I'm saying it backwards. What is now a 24-hour news cycle would be like the news in a week. And now it's just one day. So it's like you have to be like the ultimate editor now, because it's just like I could just be live 24 hours a day and not be able to cover the news in the day. Like we wouldn't even get through even part of it. Hey, Loris, I'm good. Nice to see you. I hope you're all right. Hold on, let me adjust. I'm a little fidgety, the ADHD, but I'm good. Good. Ooh, one new update. Let me see if... Oh, God. Oh, sorry. I was just reading an update from the New York Times on the tariff mess. Yeah, we know Trump's the ultimate decider of everything. You don't need to tell me that. I want to start, but I also don't. You make me saying meddling mind. Okay, let's tap the screen as fast as possible. Let's get to 25K. Everyone share the live with 10 people. I want to get a few more people in here before we start. Again, don't forget, if you're going to be on the West Coast, I don't know. I mean, April 12th, this Saturday, Bernie and AOC will be in LA. And like Joan Baez, I think there's a couple. God, is it like Neil Young? I don't know who. I saw there's a couple musical acts. Like it's going to be outdoors. I think doors open at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and then like at 9:30, I think there's some like pre-performances and stuff, and then there's going to be like actual speaking and things like that. But it looks pretty cool. I'm only 4 hours away from LA by car, so I'm still debating if I'm going to go, but I've been so tired. So I also need to I'm starting to realize this is going to be a long slog. I have to take care of myself too. I always want to do everything to the point of exhaustion. So it's like, I'm trying to learn the lesson that like, I can't be everywhere. I can't do everything. My top knot is top knotting. That is so... God, Joanna should trademark that. I know. I think that sometimes when I make my top knot, I'm just like, Joanna would say this one looked good. Thank you so much for the hat. Yeehaw. Oh, I feel like I need to. Okay, let me look really quick. Oh, yeah, we're at 338 subs. I feel like I'm perpetually trying to get back to 400. If you would like to subscribe, there's that yellow star in the lower. I'm sorry, I have my live up on another iPad so I can do. Yeah, lower left-hand corner, the yellow star that says subscribe. That's the subscribe button. This is Cash App and Venmo. If you would like to support me, I do rely on tips and donations to keep my research going. And thank you so much for all the gifts and all the support. I realized last week how much it was so good to be back and get to spend last week with you guys. Truly, you guys, you say I keep you sane. You guys keep me sane. I should not be alone with my own thoughts. That is for sure. I love Mondays. Start the day with you. Now closing out with. I know. Exactly. And I think if Steve and I are going to do Mondays like a thing, I'll know soon. I'll let you guys know when I figure out. Thanks, Shay Monet, for subscribing. You're amazing. Oh, that's what I need to do. I knew there was something. I need to pull my dashboard up so I can see what's happening. And then we'll get started. It's going to be 90 degrees in Arizona today. It's happening. In a couple weeks, it's going to be 125. It's the beginning of the end for me. Save yourselves. And I know, I love talking to facts. I could talk to, if I was like alone in a broom closet with facts, I would talk that much. We just like, our brains play off of each other well. We used to always do like Facts and Felice on Mondays, and then just life's and the election and all this stuff happened. So we kind of got away from it. So I think we might try to do that again, try to get like a specific day if it's going to be Monday. I'm going to Phoenix this weekend. I'm scared. It's going to be hot. It's hot here. It's better to come now than come in August. That's my... Get here. It's good you're coming now than like say June or July. You have a higher chance of not getting a 3rd-degree burn when you try to open a car door. Oh, you're in the Central Valley. Yeah, I mean, climate crisis is real, people. That's all I have to say. But okay, I'm going to go in a little out of order today, but I have so many interesting things like always. I say this every day. I really need to stop, but I want to show you guys a penguin. I actually think I have a couple of videos involving the penguins, but I just get the biggest kick out of this penguin stuff. Here, wait, let me pull up the outline because I'm going to try my very best. Yeah, this outline's all over the place, so forgive me in advance. Even if you look at the outline in the live sources sections, you're like, what the F is this? Yeah, just don't ask. It's just this, my brain was all over the place and I was finding videos and this is just what it looks like. But I'm trying to think. I think I have this one. I'm planning for you guys to ask me for this. If anyone wants this video, I have located it in the outline. So if you do want me to send it to everyone in the Discord, I am able to do that. Let me make sure I'm in the Discord. I was in Fax's Discord. That's the wrong Discord. Okay. I'm going to try to get better about being able to send videos if people want and need them. Hi, Politically Painful. I'm about to play another penguin video. Let me pull it up because this is a good one and a meme. That was just underneath the penguin video. Super funny stuff. And I assume she's like, I love Canadians. I guess I don't know because she said credit to Brittle Star on IG. So again, if anyone's like, who did this, I guess someone named Brittle Star on IG. But I just got it off of X this morning. It was in my algorithm, and it's so funny. I am so into so this morning in Steve's live. I can't remember they were like flippers up, and I was like, this is hilarious. I'll never get over these penguin videos. Oh wait, hold on. Let me make sure. Give me 1 second. Gotta make sure I'm going the right way. Where's my penguin video? Oh, there's a space in between. Okay. I love this.
Thank you for joining. As you are aware, U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed a 10% tariff on all exported goods from our sovereign, windswept homeland, the Heard and McDonald Islands. Now, some have described our territory as uninhabited, others as barren or inhospitable. Even more have described it in detail by saying, there are no humans here. These people are correct, except we are here. We have always been here, watching, standing, sometimes waddling. True, we may not export goods in the traditional sense, unless you count style, contempt, and the occasional puffin who is really, really lost. Stupid puffins.
Style, contempt, and the occasional puffin. That's their exports. Style, contempt, and the occasional puffin who's really lost. I'm sorry, this is hilarious.
In the traditional sense, unless you count style, contempt, and the occasional puffin who is really, really lost. Stupid puffins. But it's the principle. To target our proud penguin nation with tariffs is a declaration, not of war. We're not saying that because we're penguins and not big on fighting. Hard to punch someone with flippers. But we are saying we know where the fish are. And we control the supply. Kinda, maybe, I don't know. We're penguins. We say a lot of shit. If President Trump believes that Heard and McDonald Islands pose an economic threat to the United States, we humbly suggest that he look inward and possibly at a map that hasn't been sharpied yet. This is not the first time we have been underestimated. Actually, it may be. There's no way of knowing. Again, we're penguins. But let it be known, we are not simply just birds in little suits. We are birds in tuxedos. Speak off, Trump. Thank you. No questions.
Is that not the funniest thing? We are not just birds in suits. We're birds in tuxedos. Beak off, Trump. Flippers up. Power to the penguins. Exactly. These penguins are getting serious. They're organized. They are angry. The penguin resistance is alive and well. I laugh so you don't cry, but I sent it to everyone in the Discord. So you can find it in the general chat section, but I mean, like, I added everyone. So as long as you have your notification set to receive notifications, if you're in the Discord, then I just sent it to your cell phone. Because I think we all know at least a couple of people who are stressed out about their 401k or whatever that would enjoy that video. So I do think we should send it to at least a couple of people and keep it in your back pocket. That was one of the last things I saw. And I was like, thank God. In a weird, well, no, I almost said something gross and that I didn't mean. I almost gave Elmo a compliment. That's not his algorithm. I mean, that was built before. I think the only time Elmo changes his algorithm on Twitter is like to benefit him. But I do like how it like shows you the next thing. My 401k is a 201k. Who did here say that? I don't remember who said that first, but I saw some really funny video where someone said my 401k is a 201k. Aquarium penguins refusing to be cute in solidarity. We love the penguins. Oh, and then I wanted to show you. Oh, yeah. I'm just showing you a meme that was underneath. This was the first comment underneath the video, and it was funny. I just thought it was funny. I'm just showing a meme that I saw, like, just showing the receipts. That's my job. Don't be mad at me, person pointing out receipts. But the memes, it's like, who knew what the memes at the end of the world were going to look like? You know what I was thinking about that. I was like, I guess this is like memes for the end of the world now. And I have to say, like, the end of the world, the memes just keep getting better and better and better. So I guess there's that. We don't have a lot, but we have that. I have a couple things. I think I want to do quickly an FAFO video. I mean, I have all sorts of things to show you guys today, but this is another one I just found. And I'm probably going to say his name wrong. Is it Brad Doggett? Like Doggett, the TikTok creator? I love his videos. He is hilarious. This guy is one of the funniest people. He makes my day when am I pronouncing it right? I'm not sure if is it Doge? It could be French people. That's actually a French. Just saying, but I'll show you. So, because I know everyone's going to be like, who is it? This is his name. I know most people know. Last time I showed you guys his name, everyone was like, I follow him. Where the F have you been? I just learned who he was like a month ago. I didn't know, but I love his videos and they're hilarious. I love how calmly he's just like, and you're an embarrassment. Oh, so again, if you want to follow him, it's like Brad Doggett, Doggett, Brad Doggett. If you need to see it after, I can pull it up again after. But man, if you need to have a feel good, this is our feel good moment. Let's tap the screen. Let's get to 25K and let's all laugh so we don't cry. Oh, and quickly, Catherine, thank you so much for the $5. Power to the penguins. To you too, Catherine. Much appreciate. The penguins appreciate you and your support.
No one's cutting Medicaid. You guys are just using this to fearmonger your people, and you're quite literally lying. Trump and Musk and Doge and Caroline Leavitt and the entire administration has said over and over and over again that no one's cutting Medicaid. We're cutting fraud, waste, and abuse from these government programs. You guys look stupid because we the people understand things at a deeper level than you give us credit for.
No.
Just for a second. Well, don't worry. I'll pause it. I'll start it. I won't interrupt again. But what in the act, like with her whole chest, like she was sure. Do you know what I mean? Like she had read something. You know what I mean? It's us. We're the people that look stupid. Is that what you deduced from the research that you very obviously have not done ever for any reason? It's us. Like, I can't even believe. Where are these videos?
No one's cutting Medicaid. You guys are just using this to fearmonger your people, and you're quite literally lying. Trump and Musk and Doge and Caroline Leavitt and the entire administration has said over and over and over again that no one's cutting Medicaid. We're cutting fraud, waste, and abuse from these government programs. You guys look stupid because we the people understand things at a deeper level than you give us credit for.
No, you don't, Avery. You super don't. You know, I gotta tell you, Avery, your smugness is as unearned as it is unbearable. Okay, we're gonna explain this shit to you using pictures, because that's where we're at with Trump supporters. Okay, Avery? Check this out. This is the budget for the Energy and Commerce Committee that Republicans intend to cut $880 billion from. Now, as you can see here, Avery, most of the budget goes to Medicare and Medicaid. So take away all that blue, and what do you have left? That little gray line down there that says other. Now use the power of your eyes, Avery. Take a look at that red line that says 880 billion. Do you notice how that red line is actually bigger than that little gray line that says other? Do you know what that means, Avery? That means it's quite literally impossible to cut 880 billion from this committee without dipping into Medicare or Medicaid. So Avery, nobody gives a fuck if they promised you guys that they would not cut the things that they are now going to cut. They're lying to you, just like Elon is lying to you guys about all the leprechauns he's been finding in his backyard recently. We're still waiting for you guys to arrest some of these 300-year-old people and babies who have been stealing money from the government. Honestly, Avery, it's sad watching just how easy it is for Elon and Trump to stab you guys in the back. All they gotta do is pat you on the head while they're doing it, and you don't even notice. Anyway, Avery, you're in a cult, and you're bad at this, and you're always wrong about everything. But I hope the pictures helped. All right, good luck.
You're in a cult. You're bad at this, and you're wrong about everything. I can listen to that over. I was just like running and I was just like, God, I'm just going to put this on repeat. It's like ASMR to me. I could just, especially at the beginning, can we just remind ourselves? And I pinned it right there. That's his name on TikTok if anyone's interested. But can we just remind ourselves of how sure she was really quick that she was right? Like, how does this happen to you?
No one's cutting Medicaid. You guys are just using this to fearmonger your people, and you're quite literally lying. Trump and Musk and Doge and Caroline Leavitt and the entire administration has said over and over and over again that no one's cutting Medicaid. We're cutting fraud, waste, and abuse from these government programs. You guys look stupid
Someone
because we the people understand things at a deeper level than you give us credit for.
No, you don't, Avery. You super don't.
that's got to be the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard someone say on the right so confidently. We understand things on a deeper level. What level is that? Like where? I mean, yeah, she really was, DJ. She did. She thought she was just like, look at me. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. It's like, no, bless your heart. That was super sad for you. She really did. She posted that video and she's like, yeah. No. Somebody help these people for the love of God. Before we get into all the protesting, I think we want to talk about, because you know me, I get that just is what it was is going on this morning really quick. Ew, why is that? Oh no, it's okay. Sorry. I almost had a little panic, but everything's fine. I want to talk about what we were talking about on Faxes Live and then tie it to, because if you were there on Faxes Live this morning, there was this like wild swing in the market where all of a sudden the markets were crashing and they went back up and then they crashed like 30 minutes later. And everyone was like, what was that? Like, it's such an extreme dip. And I heard Fax say while I was on the live, like, oh, I heard like, I can't remember his exact words, but he's like, oh, I'm seeing some reporting that maybe there might be like a 90-day pause in the tariffs or something like that. So then after the live edit, you know me, I'm like, if the markets could swing like $4 trillion in 30 minutes, I want to look into why. Oh, it's not good news. Okay. So just in case anyone thinks I'm about to tell them good news, this is not good news, but it is fascinating. Like, how markets can move for no reason. So, and I'm just going to take us, you know how I am. Let me take you on a journey. So first, we're going to start with what is wrong with Peter Navarro. So this all starts with Rachel Maddow, Queen Rachel, who did I was going to say a live, like she's a live streamer. She'd be the best streamer. Can you imagine if she was just streaming on TikTok? Who did her show on Friday. Thank God she came back after missing Thursday. I was having withdrawals. And then was talking about revealing to us that Peter Navarro possibly has dissociative identity disorder and has been pretending to be another person who is an economic expert and then citing that fake person that doesn't exist. And that's why we're in this tariff mess. But I know that sounds a little confusing. Don't worry. It's all going to make sense. It's, I mean, not scary sense. Not the kind of sense that's going to make you feel better, but sense nonetheless. Keep tapping the screen. We're almost to 50K. You guys are amazing.
Do you remember where Trump got the tariff thing from in the first place? Do you remember like when and why and how we started talking about tariffs in the first place? It was in his first campaign for president. Trump didn't really have any formal economic advisors. So he told his son-in-law, Jared, to find him an economic advisor. Trump reportedly gave Jared some vague ideas of what his thoughts were on economic issues. You know, something, make me look tough, China bad, something. Jared then decided to find his father-in-law a financial advisor for his presidential campaign by going on the Amazon.com website and starting to browse books. Not like reading the books, because you can't do that on the Amazon website. He was just looking at the covers, looking at the titles. And he found a book title that he thought was so cool. The title was Death by China. Oh my God, that's so cool. That's so awesome.
Can I just point out at this point in the story that we should stop and say, it is terrifying. Do we understand what she's saying? She's saying, hey, Trump got in office. He knows nothing about economics, as we all well know. I mean, his own Wharton teacher said he's a failure, but knows nothing about economics. Is like, oh, I need some economic policy. I need an economic advisor. Like, and the way they did that was Jared Kushner goes and browses books on book covers, mind you. Like, he's not reading said books. He's browsing book covers. And that's how we got our economic policy in the beginning. Yeah. That's a great point. Just there for the dad. Sorry, I can't read it. But yeah, reminder, this is not an Onion article. It's such a great point. Great comment. I want so bad to be like, oh, April 7th Fools. No, this is real.
And that apparently was it. This quote from Vanity Fair. Trump gave Jared a summary of his views and then asked him to do some research. Kushner simply went on Amazon, where he was struck by the title of one book, Death by China, co-authored by a man named Peter Navarro. Jared then cold called Navarro, a well-known trade deficit hawk who agreed to join the team as an economic advisor. Navarro was a major advocate for an aggressive pro-tariff policy. Where did Peter Navarro get his idea that tariffs would be a good policy for America? What was his backup for that conviction? Well, he did have backup from a real expert who he cited in at least a half dozen of his books, including the one that Jared found on Amazon that fateful day. In all of his books, Peter Navarro has cited an economics expert to justify his views. And the economics expert he cites is somebody named Ron Vera, V-A-R-A, Ron Vera. When Trump won the presidency and entered the White House, this Ron Vera started circulating a memo around Washington in support of Trump using tariffs in trade policy. According to the New York Times, the memo had been, quote, sent from an email address purportedly belonging to Ron Vera. At one point, Ron Vera...
Sorry, you followed me here, not down with their sickness. Listen, you followed me here from Faxes Live. This is a different place. So if you think you're going to make asinine comments in my chat, you are not. So this is your one warning. No one has to block anyone for me. I can do it, but this is a fair warning. I'm a former teacher. Actually, I consider myself a lifetime educator. And this is a place where people that have high IQs learn. This is not a place for weirdos to make below average comments. So, fair warning, because you will not be here. I will just block you. But you can always harass me again on Faxes Lives. But this is not the place.
Wrote in the memo that Trump could, quote, ride the tariffs to victory. The problem is Ron Vera doesn't exist. He never has. The economics expert that Peter Navarro has long cited to explain why he's so gung-ho on tariffs, this person, Ron Vera, is a made-up person. He is a fictional person. Peter Navarro invented Ron Vera as his expert source so he could quote this expert source over and over and over again in his crackpot books. Who is Ron Vera? Ron Vera is an anagram of Navarro, which is his last name.
It's just fraud and plagiarism. This is not I don't know if you understand, just as someone who has a history degree and had to write a history thesis. He's basically citing sources that are not real. A made up person that is him. That is, so the reason, I just want to make sure we're all together on this now. The reason the stock market has crashed and we're in this situation is because Trump was elected president, had no actual plans. Instead of hiring actual economic experts, he goes out and is like, hey, Jared, go find me an economic advisor that knows about tariffs. And Jared thought the way to do that was to go look at book titles, not even read books, but look at book titles on Amazon. Found Peter Navarro, who was quoting a person who did not exist, that is, in fact, him. In all of his books and research, the expert he quotes is not a real person. It is, in fact, him. And that's part of the reason we are here today. This is a literal confederacy of dunces. And if you've never read that book, it's a Pulitzer Prize winning book. Highly recommend.
My name anagrams to Macho Waddler, but I don't see myself trying to talk you into doing what Macho Waddler wants, right? But that really is how the Trump administration crafted its tariff policy. That's where Trump came up with the tariff idea. circulating a fake memo from a fake person with a fake email address in order to make it look like this was a serious issue being debated by real experts. That is the intellectual basis on which Donald Trump today wiped $6 trillion of wealth out of existence and crashed America's markets and brought America and the world to the brink of a self-inflicted, on-purpose, global Great Depression along the lines of what we had in 2008 and what the pandemic inflicted upon us in 2020. This time, the global disaster is Donald Trump's big brain.
I want to clarify. It's not one book that Peter Navarro did this. He's written many books and cited this same fake person, Ron Vera, as an economic expert. This is not, he didn't just do it with like one book. This is many books, apparently. It's more than one book where Ron Vera said, so that's how Peter Navarro knows, which is just his weird, like, alter ego that does, in fact, not exist. And someone said, oh, Kamala Harris has an economics degree. Does she have an economics degree? I don't know about that, but I'll say this. Kamala Harris's dad is a professor emeritus of economics at Stanford, and this is his book on capital accumulation and income distribution, which Trump said he was, that Kamala Harris's dad is a Marxist. This is the least Marxist book I've ever read in my literal life. So yeah, let's see. What's better? Former AG of California, who's a literal genius, who, if we can go back and watch all the footage of her running for president and predicting every single thing that has happened accurately, whose father is a professor emeritus of economics at Stanford University and written one of the books, like, I've literally learned so much from. Or Trump, who's like, Jared, go browse book titles on Amazon and find a guy who has multiple personalities and is quoting a person who doesn't exist in all his books. You tell me. Oh, she does have an economics degree. Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, I met her once. She's a genius.
And Donald Trump may think it's all going to work out. The American people are awake and well aware that this is not going to work out. New Reuters Ipsos polling, to which I would like to bring your attention. Do you approve or disapprove of Donald Trump's handling of his job as president? Disapprove by a 10-point margin. Do you approve or disapprove of how Donald Trump is handling the economy specifically? Disapprove by a 15-point margin. Do you approve or disapprove of how Donald Trump is handling the issue of international trade? Disapprove by an 18-point margin. Do you approve or disapprove of how Donald Trump is handling the issue of your cost of living? Disapprove by a 27-point margin. Is the Trump administration competent or incompetent at running the federal government? Incompetent by a 20-point margin. Is the Trump administration competent or incompetent at rolling out new economic policies? Incompetent by a 25-point margin. Is the Trump administration competent or incompetent at downsizing government without affecting vital services? Incompetent by a 25-point margin. That's before the markets did what they've done in the last 2 days. The American people get it. They get it. They are.
Amen. I never agreed more so now. I mean, and that poll, in case, because you could see on the bottom and just to be clear, it's a Reuters poll from March 31st to April 2nd. So that's what she's saying. And she's saying before Liberation Day, those numbers are not as a result of Trump crashing the economy. That is prior to Trump crashing the economy. Like, is it all making sense now? And I've got Trump supporters following me around being like, oh, I'm here to make points that aren't salient. Like, please. You are embarrassing yourself. Move along. Oh, yeah. So now I'm just remembering the line of logic I'm on. Oh, it seems like it's going to be another day where my presentation closes over and over. Look forward to it. Okay. So what I want to talk about then is the markets moving suddenly this morning, like the huge swing. So Let me show you this and see if I can get large and go down. So this 90-day pause thing. So what started to happen is all of a sudden when I was live with Fax and you heard Fax saying it, he's like, I'm seeing some reporting that there might be a 90-day pause on the tariffs. And the minute that was, let's say, reported or it was misconstrued, it looks like the market started to go back up. Immediately, people just started investing back into the market again. And again, that's this morning when I was live with Fax. And then literally 10 minutes later or 20 minutes after that, when we looked at the markets again, they had crashed wildly. So, and I'm just showing you guys why. So this 90-day pause thing seems to be based on a Fox host asking Hassett if Trump would do a 90-day pause and him saying, quote, Trump is going to decide what the president is going to decide. That is not a yes. But it's based on that and a Reuters article that was quoting that, where for some reason people started getting the idea there was going to be a 90-day pause. Like a Fox host asks, which here's the clip just to clarify, which it's not much.
Will you do a 90-day pause? Would you consider that?
Or Bill, yeah, I think that the president is going to decide what the president's going to decide. There are more than 50 countries in negotiation with the president. We've got the prime minister of Israel coming today. We've had a reach out overnight from Taiwan. And but I would urge everyone, especially Bill, to ease off the rhetoric a little bit. The fact is that say 10% baseline tariff is on 14% of GDP. That's about how much trade we have, how many imports. And so 86% of GDP is affected by the deregulation and the tax cuts and everything else. And even if you think, and I think a lot of us at the White House think that these economic responses are exaggerated by critics, even if you think that there will be some negative effect from the trade side, that's still a small share of GDP. And so the idea that it's going to be a nuclear winter or something like that is completely irresponsible rhetoric.
No, it is. What do you think is happening right now? Like, I can't even listen. Imagine being this guy. But truly, and I don't believe it was not, I mean, I think it was probably, but they heard this clip and somewhere, and then Reuters posted an article which has been edited. So oh, actually, I might have the original. Oh, I do. I forgot I found it. I did a lot of searching. So, and then in addition to that clip, which is like, okay, like a Fox host asked, is there going to be a 90-day pause? If you're just joining, I'm explaining why the market suddenly shot back up this morning and then lost like 4 trillion again. This was from this article. It has been since updated. So if you go back to this hyperlink, it's been edited. But it said April 7th, Reuters, Wall Street's main indexes reversed course and moved sharply higher after White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett said in an interview that President Donald Trump was considering a 90-day tariff pause on all countries except China. Except for, I mean, he didn't. I'll give this. I don't like Kevin Hassett. I think he's a fool. Most of the things he says makes no sense. But he definitely did not say that. So Reuters sort of reported it, and then people just started running, and the market shot back up. And then you can see this is when I took a screenshot after story withdrawn on Hassett's comments on tariff pause. Yeah, it wasn't true. So the market shot back up and then crashed while we were all on Fax's live earlier. And this is why. So listen to this. The Dow turns positive as CNBC. So this is like what's happening in real time live. Talks about reporting that Kevin Hassett is saying Trump is considering a 90-day pause on all tariffs. So that clip happens. Somehow Reuters misinterprets that clip, then live on CNBC, they start saying it out loud.
I think we can go with this headline from apparently Hassett's been saying that Trump will consider a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except for China.
Except for China.
Oh, well, that's huge. I mean, that changes the game.
We'll try and source that exactly in terms of where that's coming from. But to your point, longer term, let's say, okay, we get a 90-day pause. I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts about credibility. Sarah and I were talking about it moments ago.
We're not.
What it means for policy going forward, and/or how you navigate this, both as a decision maker at the top of a company or an investor.
No one likes this uncertainty. This is a negative. That he could do something like this and not listen. Let's hope Congress takes back the powers of the tariff that the fathers of the Constitution wrote in and gave them, and they gave up to the president.
Amen. I actually agree with that guy. But yeah, if you're just joining, what we're doing is I'm just showing you why the market shot up suddenly this morning and then crashed back down. And this is why, a misinterpretation of a Fox News clip. And then, so this is Trump's, God, don't recommend. 10 of 10, do not recommend. 0 of 10, recommend following this account. This is Rapid Response 47. So then this, which is Caroline Leave It, responds that wrong. Not only did Director Hassett not say this, clip below, it's the clip I just played you, POTUS has been clear. It all has to change, but especially with China. Have you noticed that she's starting to write like Trump? It's disturbing to watch at this point. And then they respond again to the clip I just showed you, the last clip, and said, Press Secretary at Caroline Leavitt reports that Trump is considering a 90-day pause on tariffs are fake news. It would be is fake news, but who's counting? Whatever. So that's why. Oh, and we don't need to rehear that clip. We just heard it. Then this insanity. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you guys so much. Keep tapping the screen. We are slowing down a bit on the tapping. You guys are doing an amazing job. So this is the more disturbing stuff. This is at 10:14 a.m. Yesterday, Trump issued retaliatory tariffs of 34% on top of their already record-setting tariffs, non-monetary tariffs, illegal subsidization of companies, and long-term currency manipulation. Again, what? Trump just saying things that aren't true. Despite my warning that any country that retaliates against the U.S. by issuing additional tariffs above and beyond their already existing long-term tariff abuse of our nation, none of this is true, will be immediately met with new and substantially higher tariffs over and above those initially set. And this is real life, people. As if it couldn't get worse. I guess we're having another Liberation Day on Wednesday. Get excited. Therefore, if China does not withdraw its 34% increase above their already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, April 8th, 2025, the United States will impose additional tariffs on China of 50% effective April 9th. Oh, you guys, we're going to be even freer on April 9th. Get excited. Look at all this freedom, you guys. So much freedom. Thank you for sharing the live, Jed. I appreciate you so much. I'll update the goals just as soon as I stop reading this. Additionally, all talks, thank you for reminding me. I need it. Additionally, all talks with China concerning their requested meetings with us will be terminated. Oh, cool. Negotiations with other countries, which have also requested meetings, will begin taking place immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Can somebody please? I feel like we all need a 30-second break to bang our head against the wall. Oh, so you guys, on April 9th, we're going to be getting so much freer. Like, I think things will be just like 100% more expensive. Everything coming from China, which is most of the things coming into our country. What could go wrong there? I'm sure all the small business owners right now who use factories and trying to imagine what people reading this. What are the markets doing? Like, this is this morning after already the markets shoot up and then he's like, no, they crash again. Then he's posting this crap. And then we come back to, Ron Vera, also known as Peter Navarro, the guy that made up an alter ego so he could sound important and cite an expert in his books that does not exist. This is Peter Navarro this morning after all this crap is happening or going on simultaneously. Sylvia, thank you so much for the $5. You're amazing. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for all that you do. Right back at you. And Lahua, thank you for the super chat. Amen. If we did not laugh, we would be crying. LOL. Sometimes I cry and laugh at the same time now. Quite honestly, I'll update the gift goals right now. Like, that's why you can laugh and cry all at once. Just if you didn't know that, I think you will soon. It is all possible, people. Nothing wrong with nothing wrong with regulating your emotions. I think we're all going to need several good cries. Wait, did I do it? Oh no, wait, gift goal. That's what it is. Sorry, there's 3 different goal setting things. I'm getting to it right meow, as my cat would say. What's a fairy mask? I don't know, but those are expensive. I'll add a different gift. I think I saw one of those last week. So I've seen so many cool gifts. Okay. I guess you can set more than one gift goal. Cool, TikTok studio. Okay, so I did the little cheek things, but then also one fairy mask, which I guess is cool. That's even better. Wings for my head. I'm going to start wearing all sorts of headdresses. Peter Navarro on CNBC calls tariffs a beautiful situation. Now, mind you, we've just now watched Rachel Maddow's piece. This is a man pretending to be another man that is an anagram of his name so he can pretend to be an expert on tariffs, and is now, after this reporting has came out, and I can tell you on X, this man is being dragged. And when I say dragged, and don't you worry, the receipts are coming, I mean by the left and the right. Like Elmo is after, Space Karen is after Peter Navarro. Space Karen no likey tariffs, and specifically no likey Peter Navarro. So this man is being like, Elmo / Space Karen has 200 million followers who are after him on X. The left is just like, hey, weirdo, like you made up a fake name and are quoting like a fake expert in your books. This man's having a rough day. And he's on CNBC this morning. It's fascinating to watch, like truly. Izzy, thank you so much for resubscribing. You're amazing. Izzy, you are awesome. I know, I aspire to be this level of Delulu. That's what I'm trying to paint a picture for you guys. And it's like, not that Space Karen is sane, but Space Karen has found someone so crazy that now Space Karen even looks saner. And I honestly think what Space Karen is doing is smart, because what Elmo's trying to do is look a little bit sane. Like he's like embarrassed over this Wisconsin Supreme Court debacle over spending like $28 million and nobody gives an F about him. And he kind of slunk away into the shadows in shame. And now this tariff stuff he truly doesn't agree with. So he's sort of using it to be like, oh, I'm not the craziest one. Look at this weirdo. And Peter Navarro just with his full chest, or should we say Ron Vera? The best would be if like the Chiron, someone changed it to say Ron Vera.
We did hit that, not in 4 years, but in less than 2 years. And what I'm seeing, Joe, is a beautiful situation where we will hit 50,000 on the Dow. And we're going to have a broad-based recovery in the S&P 500. The market's trying to find its bottom now. The thing I would say to retail investors is don't get panicked out by all of this. And we did hit that.
Shouldn't get panicked that the person whose idea this thinks that he's a whole other person and then is quoting that person in fake books he wrote, or he's pretending he had consulted an expert that it turns out is also you. None of us should be concerned that that's the way we've come into this situation. Okay, Peter. And I'm sorry. And just in case any of you also don't know Peter also was recently released from prison. This is one of the subpoena dodgers who had to go to prison. This is the other Steve Bannon. So this is who's in charge. This is why the stocks have crashed. I mean, it's because of Trump. And I just want to be clear, but this is the guy. And it's almost smart of Trump to march him out there, because it's just right under the wheels of the bus, Peter. Now everyone's attacking him. Oh, here's another great quote from the guy pretending to be two different people.
You have talked a lot about how tariffs, and the president's talked a lot about how tariffs can be helpful as a tax, effectively, as a way to raise revenue here in the United States.
Tariffs
and
are tariffs, and they do raise revenues. They will. I see them as a tax cut, Andrew, because they're going to help pay for the biggest tax cut in American history. Every dollar that we extract from foreigners who are cheating us is going to go to the American public in the form of debt reduction and tax cuts, including, for example, in our auto industry. Anybody who buys an American-made car is going to get a healthy tax cut. We were given $7,500 away for EVs made partly in China. That's crazy.
Understand, if anyone needs a brief pause to bang your head against the wall again, I'll wait for you. Like, this man is saying, and that's how arrogant this guy is. He literally just sat there and said, I'm sorry, unless you make over $360,000 a year, and these are federal taxes, you will be getting no tax cut. Now, all of us, every time we transact at the cash register, will be paying additional taxes on top of state tax, on top of federal tax. Every time we have to buy a product, we will be paying so that rich people and corporations don't have to pay their taxes. And he blatantly just says, tariffs are tariffs, which, hey, no S, Sherlock. Are you kidding me? And then just is like, hey, it's going to pay for the tax cuts none of you are actually getting. I cannot believe how they will just sit there to our faces and insult our intelligence. And that's correct. Who knows who went to prison? I thought Peter Navarro went to prison, but maybe it was Mark Vera. Oh, and it gets, oh my God. And this guy, okay, I'll show you in a second. We're about to get to Joe Kernan. I've never seen Joe Kernan. One of these CNBC people is like a diehard Trump fan, and I've never seen him get annoyed with one of Trump's lackeys before.
This idea of who's getting hurt immediately. Oil prices.
Mark, I meant Ron Vera. Sorry, something's wrong with my brain.
This idea of who's getting hurt immediately. Oil prices, oil's fungible. They can go elsewhere to buy oil. Things like soybeans, corn, wheat, that could be picked up from other markets too. Brazil is very happy to step in and supply some of those things. Farmers here are already getting hurt, already asking for relief like they got under the first Trump administration. If we are raising these tariffs, taking that money and simply turning around and paying the people who are getting hurt with it, how does that benefit the economy, particularly if it leads to a downturn in the economy that costs people jobs?
Because, Becky, it brings home our domestic manufacturing. I mean, that should be patently obvious to you. That's the whole point.
That takes years. Are we asking people to be patient for years?
That's another one of the debates. How long will this take? Brian of the UAW stands up on Liberation Day, almost steals the show from the boss, and he says he's lived through this whole thing. He watched the factories go away.
The insults to our intelligence are absolutely delusional. And I just want to be clear, and I was talking about this morning because I heard the beginning, they're talking about oil. We are now, the oil is down, well, it was at $60. Like, just to be clear, right? In order for the U.S. oil industry to drill, baby, drill, we have to, when we get to $60 a barrel, they cap the wells. They don't tap the wells. There's no drilling at $60 a barrel. Right now, futures, we're sitting at $61.02. These are not, nobody's tapping any wells at $61 a barrel, period. And that's the misunderstanding. Like, if you want to know how you know MAGA couldn't find their way out of a paper bag, what the U.S. oil industry needs to maintain per barrel is a sweet spot. And it's the same reason that we have trade deficits, right? The value of the U.S. dollar is high compared to other countries' currencies. The cost of labor, the cost of materials, the cost to tap an oil well here is much higher than it is in places like Saudi Arabia. So we have to it did slip below 60 earlier. I was watching that. I have a tracker on my phone of oil futures. But yeah, so I mean, Sorry, I'm just answering Toodle in the chat, who's saying it actually slipped to 59. It will slip more. I mean, this is what will happen, because what MAGA can't make a connection is that gas being cheap does not mean we are drill baby drilling. When Trump says he's telling the Saudis to release their oil reserves, that will bankrupt U.S. oil. They cannot tap wells. That will drive the price per barrel down. If we flood the market with product, price per barrel goes down, right? So that's why what Biden was doing and why it worked for the oil and gas industry was it's a tightrope walk. You have to keep the price per barrel at a certain rate so we can drill. So it's feasible for them to tap new wells. And none of these people trust Trump. There's not going to be any drill, baby, drill. Would you trust this man to risk? And you have to continually invest so much money over and over and over. It's huge investments of money. And you have to trust that the guy who's in charge is stable, consistent, and will do what he says he's going to do. There's not going to be any drill, baby, drill. You'd have to be crazy to trust Trump and drill right now.
And I think from policy institutes on both sides of the aisle, the methodology that was used has been universally derided as being non-serious. I don't know whether you know exactly who came up with the formula, but it allowed you to at least characterize most of these countries as being their tariffs well above the reality of the situation, so that when you say that we're going to do half on them, it was much higher than anyone anticipated. And I think you'd have to concede that this was not the market reaction you were looking for. There's a way of maybe incrementally trying to accomplish some of the things that the president wants to do in a reasonable, serious way. And this just almost across the board has caused what you're seeing in the stock market, and a lot of head scratching and head shaking on whether anyone really knows what they're doing in this case, Peter.
Right, well,
Can you at least acknowledge?
I just need you guys to know this man on the top here, Joe Kernan, is like the biggest Trump sycophant. This man would lick Trump's shoes on air and be like, "Thank you. Can I please have another shoe to lick?" He loves Trump. I never hear him say a negative thing about Trump ever. So what you're hearing is this is the first time I've ever heard Joe Kernan dissent against Trump in this way.
Sure. No, I can't, because here's what I'm seeing. You throw a lot of stuff at me. First of all, the methodology was perfectly sound. It was done by the Council of Economic Advisors based on long-term studies that are in the academic literature, and the people taking pot shots at us.
Long-term studies in academic literature? Oh, are you talking about the academic literature that you wrote and then invented a fake person named Ron Vera that's actually you, and then you cited them as an expert when really it was you the whole time? That type of academic? Are you talking about the books you wrote where it turns out there was no expert? It was you citing yourself and your alternate personality? That's literally what this guy is doing today. He should be slinking away in shame. And he's like, "Let me tell you about my academic literature." Oh, the ones that it turns out you're citing people that aren't real.
Are the same people that always take pot shots.
The American Enterprise Institute, Peter.
Of course. Joe, come on. The American.
And I. Tax cuts. Do you know anything about letting the top marginal rate go? Are you a proponent of letting that go from 37 back above 39.6 to try to pay for some of this other stuff? Because you know how many small to
How crazy it is for this man to be like, we need to raise the top marginal tax rate, because he actually he has an economics degree and he can count. Even though he's a Trump sycophant, he's doing counting and thinking, hey, we've got to make up revenue. This doesn't make sense. We're not going to levy revenue. Even these tariffs won't work. You know what happens when you put a bunch of tariffs on things? People don't buy that stuff anymore. This is not a long-term strategy to levy tax revenue. This man is like, hey, we might need to increase the top marginal tax rate. The day I thought I would hear him say that to Trump, like to one of Trump's people, I mean, unprecedented times we're in.
37 back above 39.6 to try to pay for some of this other stuff, because you know how many small to medium-sized corporations pay taxes at those rates if they're
Joe, that one's not my lane. I let Scotty
you just said we're going to cut taxes. That's not
Besson.
You add all this together.
No tax on tips.
And it's not
no
looking.
No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security. Tax breaks for if you buy a domestic auto. But if you raise the top
rate, that's not a Republican or a conservative.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Whose idea was that? So the tariffs are all right. So you own the tariffs, then?
Joe, I
don't know if I'd want to know that.
You're going after me for something that I'm not involved in. I can talk tariffs till the cows come home. Hey, Becky, how are you?
Let's
talk tariffs with my alter ego I made up, who's a tariff expert. Neither one of us knows shit about what we're talking about. Like, I never liked Peter Navarro. He always struck me as clueless. Like, that was the most disturbing thing I've ever. This is the man responsible or who they recruited to this tariff policy. You should be ashamed. And again, these aren't even reciprocal tariffs. These are random made up numbers. We're tariffing places with no humans, but for some reason, still not Russia. It's the weirdest thing. I wonder if we could ever figure out why. Oh, and so here's the actual timeline, which someone mapped out. Well, this is the timeline of what happened that moved. So I was talking about why did the market move $4 trillion up and down this morning. This is the timeline of what happened that moved $4 trillion on the market just now. Kevin Hassett, I showed you that clip, gives an unremarkable Fox interview at 8:24 a.m. Eastern. Aaron Rupar clipped it as he does at 8:33 a.m. Eastern, and gets not much notice. Then someone misinterprets it at 10:13 a.m. and tweets the White House considering a 90-day pause. And the White House responds to that tweet, but it's deleted now, so you can't see it. Market popped 7 to 10%. The market shot up. White House denies it's real and says that's not real. Then that person that posted it claims the news source is sourced to Reuters, which is true, and he deletes the original tweet. The Reuters thing is true. I showed you that article as well. But this is the clip I showed you. Then you could see the market shoots up. Hassett is considered. This is it's Walter Bloomberg. I was like, who's DE? I didn't know who this account was. Trump is considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China. So, okay, there you go. Walter, where did this headline come from? And he says Reuters, which I don't know what the original Reuters headline comes from, but he is correct in saying that the article did say that at one point. Basically said that that President Donald Trump was considering a 90-day tariff pause on all countries except China. So at least he didn't make it up out of the thin air and move the market up and down $4 trillion. Like, for a second, there was hope, and then all hope was, and then Trump's like, absolutely not. I intend to bankrupt all of you. Get it right. The cooler heads will not prevail. I will bankrupt everyone. This is once it was updated. Wall Street resumes slide after White House denies report of tariff pause. That's how quick it was. The market jumped 7 to 10% in seconds because they thought Trump might be talked off a ledge. Don't worry, though. It's not true. We have no financial future. I just want to make sure everyone's clear in case you thought there was good news, but I just am fascinated. Oh, and it gets even more fascinating. So raise your hand if you know who Bill Ackman is. Bill Ackman is a billionaire. He used to be a big Democratic donor. And then all of a sudden, here's the nicest thing I can say about Bill Ackman. I was thinking, like, I should say something nice about Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman has really pretty eyelashes. That's all I've got. I have noticed that before. When I worked in San Francisco, when I worked in advertising, I saw him once in San Francisco, like in a coffee shop, a little local coffee shop, like where all the tech companies are. And I was like, damn, he has beautiful long eyelashes. That's it. Everything else, can't think of anything else. That's all I've got for you on Bill Ackman. But he used to be a huge Democratic donor, and then he all of a sudden was like, yeah, I hate DEI. Like, we need to get this out of companies. And he became this outspoken Trump donor who's like, yeah, I'm going to give all my money to Trump and we're going to ruin DEI, which is funny because if you do statistical analysis, actually DEI programs help companies make money. I mean, don't talk to me about it. Talk about the math. It's the same thing with telework. Statistically, when you have a wider talent pool to pull from, when people are able to stay at home, you actually produce more. You spend less on real estate. So these people are, I don't know why, but that's who Bill Ackman is. Anyways, so wait, I'm trying to think of what order, if I want to show you the tweets first or show you this. No, okay. So this is on December. This is in December 2024. So Trump has been elected and it's December. Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. I was like, I don't see it. Oh, it's my responsibility to turn this thing on. Sorry, I was watching it. I was having a great time by myself.
Trade, Howard Lutnick is going to be a very strong advocate for promoting our United States and trade in a thoughtful way.
Talking about Nutlick, which, yes, he did say Lutnick, but as I discovered last Thursday at 3 a.m., if you just interchange the L and the N, Howard's name, which is much more appropriate, is Nutlick. So this is him in just this last December after Trump's elected, and we're all like, oh, here we go. He's going to do something horrible. And Bill Ackman's like, Howard Nutlick's great. Like, oh, everything's going to be amazing. Fast forward to yesterday when Bill Ackman has lost a lot of money and is not feeling like being a pathological liar anymore. So now Bill Ackman's losing his GD mind on Twitter and is like, I just figured why Howard Nutlick is indifferent to the stock market and the economy crashing. He and Cantor is his hedge fund, are long bonds. He profits when our economy implodes. It's a bad idea to pick a Secretary of Commerce whose firm is leveraged long fixed income. It's an irreconcilable conflict of interest. Oh, Bill, you have a problem with conflicts of interest? I didn't think that you did. I think when conflicts of interest benefit you, then you're 100% okay with them. And now that you lost a lot of money, and you obviously aren't playing the long game, and you never thought Trump would do something so insane, and he's very clearly doing it to clamp down and get power over you, likey. He's like, I only like conflicts of interest that work in my favor. Make it stop. Howard Nutlick's being mean to me. I lost a lot of money. Sorry, I'm just refreshing my throat. But anyways, this is what Bill Ackman's doing. And I use this version because I also like what Ron Filipkowski wrote. They never dare blame Trump. It's always an advisor's fault. And that's the truth. You can say, oh, Peter Navarro and his crazy alter ego and all of his research is fake. All that's true. And he's crazy and he's citing a fake person that's an anagram of his name. None of it would be happening if not for Donald Trump, right? But will any of these men say, now he's blaming Nutlick? Nothing Nutlick wants to happen will happen if not for Donald Trump. They're all upset about Trump, but never will they call Trump out. I find it hilarious. Flute proves not all rich people are smart. Not all rich people. You don't have to be smart. No. And let me just say this. I'll say this as a former teacher. Well, I consider myself a lifetime teacher. There are 8 different types of intelligences, probably more. So like, first of all, I'd say, what's the definition of smart, right? But absolutely, having capital does not equate to intelligence in any ways. And let's say you are good at finance. That's a unique skill set that it doesn't necessarily make you good, let's say, in advertising or in the tech industry, right? Like, so, I mean, it's all relative. But yeah, like I would say personally, the smartest people I know, intellectuals, I mean, they tend to be less interested in money. I'm not saying you can't have money and also be intelligent, but that intelligence is usually concentrated into something that they use to generate capital versus just being an overall thinker. Because I find the more I think about things, the less capital matters to me. You know, like I used to make a lot of money, and the longer I spent being an intellectual, the less it mattered to me to generate capital. So I don't know. That's just food for thought. But anyways, so Bill Ackman is on the internet now crying. Oh, and here's another one. This is also. Oh, wait, no, I need to find. Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me make sure I find the clip because I want to make sure not to ruin the order of this. We're going on a journey. Oh, no, I do have it. Oh, wait, I'm trying to decide what's the better order here. Okay, yeah, I'll do this first. Okay, so then he's crying some more online, this is the longest post I've ever seen in my life. So Bill Ackman's not having a great day yesterday. And he's like, the country is 100% behind the president. Yeah, like we're doing some weird North Korea, like ass kissing. Fixing a global system of tariffs that has disadvantaged the country. No, it hasn't. What are you talking about? Trade deficits are not bad. We have a very high valued currency. If we want to export more, we need to devalue our own currency, which has downsides to it, right? The only thing that matters, the only time a trade deficit matters is if we, let's say, weren't getting a good deal on goods at market, right? I mean, then we could address it, but the trade deficits aren't bad. The country is 100% behind the president on fixing a global system of tariffs that has disadvantaged the country, but business is a confidence game, and confidence depends on trust. President at real Donald Trump has elevated the tariff issue to the most important geopolitical issue in the world and has gotten everyone's attention. So far, so good. Which I will say this. He's the only billionaire / business person I've seen have the guts to even type up anything. The president has an opportunity. I mean, outside of like Mark Cuban, who's like, Trump's an idiot. The president, oopsies. Sorry, The president has an opportunity to call a 90-day timeout. Here's another place you hear of the 90-day timeout. Bill Ackman's basically crying and begging for it to negotiate and resolve unfair asymmetric tariff deals and induce trillions of dollars of new investment in our country. If, on the other hand, on April 9th, that's this Wednesday, we launched economic nuclear war, he's very worried about China, and you could tell. Must have a lot of business in China. On every country in the world, business investment will grind to a halt. Consumers will close their wallets and pocketbooks, and we will severely damage our reputation with the rest of the world that will take years and potentially decades to rehabilitate. What CEO and what board of directors will be comfortable making large, long-term economic commitments in our country in the middle of an economic nuclear war? Now we're at nuclear war. Bill Ackman's having a conniption. And it is not just the big companies that will suffer. And sadly, this is true. It's worse. Small and medium-sized companies cannot survive tariffs, and Trump doesn't care. Small and medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurs will experience much greater pain. Much. People are going out of business. Almost no business can pass through an overnight massive increase in costs to their customers. And that's true, even if they have no debt. And unfortunately, there is a massive amount of leverage in the system. Business is a confidence game. You already said that, Bill. The president is losing confidence. Listen, and he went for it. The president is losing the confidence of business leaders around the globe. The consequences for our country and the millions of our citizens who have supported the president, in particular, low-income consumers who are already under a huge amount of economic stress. Oh, is that you care about low-income consumers when you were saying DEI was BS, even though it helps companies generate capital? Yeah, okay. Are going to be severely negative. This is not what we voted for. The president has an opportunity on Monday to call a timeout and have time to execute on fixing an unfair tariff system. Alternatively, we are heading for a self-induced economic nuclear winter, and we should start hunkering down. May cooler heads prevail. You know what, Bill? Maybe you shouldn't have donated millions of dollars to him. Maybe you shouldn't have got him elected. Do you understand that this is a man who used to be a huge Democratic donor, decided to switch sides, got Trump elected, and is now crying about it? I'm just pointing that out. It's not true what he's saying. I'm just saying I don't think this is because he cares about poor people. If you cared about poor people, you wouldn't have been like, oh, DEI is BS, which it's not. Anyways, Kathleen, I know it took me a long time. Thank you so much for the $25 on Cash App. I literally just saw it. Sorry, I have a lot going on. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I do all of this research, everything I do to make these presentations, I do based on your tips and donations, and they are all very, very, very much appreciated. I need to update a couple things really quick. I noticed while I was reading the longest tweet Bill Ackman's ever. But again, he's the only billionaire I saw actually have the guts to type something out and be like, what the F's going on? I mean, of the Trump supporting billionaires. I'm not saying, Mark Cuban's always just like, Trump sucks. And Warren Buffett too. Let me check really quick here. Oh, now we're on to the best part. Okay, so you just read that insane. So Bill Ackman's like having a conniption fit. So that's how he felt yesterday. And that actually helps me understand because I'm rereading that. Like, I think because I was reading that a bunch of CEOs were either calling or making a pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago this weekend to try to get Trump to see reason, to talk him off, like I think the words were tariff ledge. And that's probably where the 90-day thing came from. Like Reuters didn't invent it out of thin air. It's been like what billionaires were trying to get him to do behind the scenes. And then Trump like took pleasure in being like, I have no idea what anyone's talking about. I'll do what I want. So now remember, you just saw Bill saying all that. That was yesterday night or yesterday evening. This is Bill in December. So again, this is Bill Ackman in December 2024. Cry me a mother effing river. Sorry, Bill.
That comes from that.
Yeah, sorry, Bill, I hear that as well, of course. In the investment community, though, the things that seem to concern some people are the unknowns, tariffs and deportations. Do you share that at least concern, or what is your sense as to how that's going to go? The impact on inflation, obviously, is a key component, potentially, if both are quite deep and severe.
Sure. So, look, I think with respect to immigration, the president's very focused on the safety of the American people and having an open border, not vetting people coming in, having criminals into the country. I think that's the number one priority, and that is actually pro-economy move. If you get rid of people who are causing harm.
That's 100,000 people, not 11 million, potentially.
Unfortunately, I think it's more than that. but that's a priority. Look, I think the overarching theme is President Trump will do nothing that interferes with the success of the country, the success of the economy. That's absolutely his number. Other than our national defense, that's his number one issue. So I think he's going to be very thoughtful about tariffs.
You do?
I think it's a very powerful tool that can be used to level the playing field. I think that's what he wants. He wants a level playing field for the country.
So, but what do we say to someone like Janet Yellen, Secretary of Treasury? She just says, look, this is inflationary. We really got to be very careful. Many things can go wrong with what he's talking about. I mean, I'm not hearing that from you, obviously.
Yeah, no, I would say I'm more optimistic about the economy, the country in a very long time.
And do
you see why I'm annoyed with Bill Ackman? Do you see? What about Janet Yellen? Oh, that's just a woman with a tiny brain. Don't worry, Bill Ackman knows best. Mediocre men failing up and then being like, but wait, this wasn't supposed to affect me. I thought we were just going to hurt brown people. What's going on? I don't understand. Like, this is right. President Trump. Like that's how I'm sorry, Bill. Like, you literally made your bed, jumped in it, pulled the covers over you. That's the Mad Money. Sorry, I'm just answering a question in the chat. I'm trying to get better about not just starting to talk about random crap. Doughboy asked, what's the Mad Money guy's name? It's Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer. But yeah, that was December. Now Bill Ackman is here crying on Twitter, trying to rally support to get people to be like, this isn't okay. Oh, the crazy out of control guy's not listening to you? I'm so shocked. What are you going to do? It's almost like we all tried to tell you that, and then you dismissed everyone. Now, and even better, so then like I said, Elmo's taken this opportunity to be like, oh, I don't like tariffs either. Which it's like, what are you talking about? But I love watching all these people backtrack. After losing the Wisconsin Supreme Court election, spending $28 million and trying to find a way to weasel his way back into the American people's hearts. Not that he was ever there, but you know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, this is my in. This is my chance to be the reasonable person. And so he's speaking at a conference online, basically saying yeah, I don't want tariffs, especially between Europe and the United States. We shouldn't be tariffing them at all. Oh God, I did it again. I'm so sorry. Whatever.
And I'm hopeful, for example, with the tariffs, that at the end of the day, I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America. That would be my...
Can I just remind you, thank you so much, Bobby. You're amazing. You're the best. Can I just remind you guys really quick that this is the man when he was being investigated by Europe, this is the man who's been trying to buy elections in Europe, been making all these THREATSs, and been trying to ruin investigations into him, into his products, into antitrust laws and things of that nature. And now all of a sudden, and remember when he had JD Vance and Trump saying oh, we're not trading with Europe anymore unless they drop these cases against our tech bros. And all of a sudden he believes in free trade and no tariffs on Europe. Okay. But I mean, that is the sane position to take. And I think after his L he took in Wisconsin, I don't think he's interested in if he came out, imagine if he was yeah, tariffs, I don't know if the Tesla stock could survive a yay tariffs
situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America. That would be that's what I hope occurs. And also more freedom of people to move between Europe and North America, if they wish. If they wish to work in Europe or wish to work in America, they should be allowed to do so, in my view. So that has certainly been my advice to the president.
I can't. It's opposite day, but okay. So Elmo is now taking the opposite position, which that's his only position to take after the lick he took in Wisconsin, after the free fall of Tesla stock. The only thing he can do now is stop the insanity, right? Yeah, like this is a smart move. Like it would be, as someone that has a marketing advertising background, if he did not take this position, I mean that would be like the nail in the coffin. For sure, you could see it on his face. Like, this is not, he was all about authoritarianism. Let's throw our weight around. Let's buy elections. And he got a little wind. Some wind has been taken out of his sails. All of a sudden he's for free trade between Europe and the US. Okay, whatever. But I do find it funny when it comes to him now hitting on Trump and his advisors. Like, right? Like he has officially taken the opposite position. Let me find these clips because I want to show you, like, first, okay, yeah, that's what I'm trying to decide what order. So I'm going to show you this Daily Beast article, and then I'll show you, like, they asked Peter Navarro about Musk hating him. Peter Navarro or Ron Vera, depending on whoever Peter Navarro is pretending to be on which day. But I find this hilarious. Like, the Trump administration are literally a bunch of wackos. These people are out of their GD mind. So this is a Daily Beast article. Musk melts down at Trump's tariff guru. That's Peter Navarro as feud goes public. This is yesterday. And it's continued. Elmo won't stop posting videos, like kind of like subtly being like, tariffs are down. What are you doing? Because it's affecting all of them. This is Trump's move. This is Trump clamping down power on corporations and billionaires and saying, hey, I can steal all your wealth if I want. He's demonstrating, like, if I want, I will drain your stock while you sit there helpless. And none of them like this feeling. They thought this was going to be like oligarchy, all boats rise when the tide rises. And Trump's like, oh, no, not you guys. If I want to turn you all off, I'll turn you all off too. So Space Karen has taken a massive swipe at President Donald Trump's trade advisor amid the deepening economic chaos caused by Liberation Day. In a Saturday post, the Tesla CEO ripped Peter Navarro as someone who ain't built SHIT and shaded his Harvard PhD in economics as a bad thing, not a good thing. Well, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. I know smart people who have PhDs in economics, and I know dumb people who don't. And I think Peter Navarro, if you're inventing an alter ego to make it seem like you have any business talking about what you're talking about, that's no bueno. A PhD to be inventing sources to cite is like basically fraud in the academic world. When they were looking, was it Harvard or was it the president of Columbia they ousted, and they like went through her research and said it was cited wrong, but really like it just depends on like what year, like citation format you're using. I'm just trying to tell you guys, to have a PhD and be making up a source that's an anagram of your own name and saying this expert told me. I mean, there is no higher level of fraud in academia. Like, I mean, this man has perpetrated a fraud. Musk, who's openly expressed disdain for Ivy League institution, commented, "Yup," under a quote from U.S. economist Thomas Sowell that read, "In every disaster throughout American history, there always seems to be a man from Harvard in the middle of it." I don't even disagree with that, but here's an example. So Aaron Blake, by the way, follow Aaron Blake. He's one of my favorite Washington Post writers. Elon Musk has now taking open shots at top White House advisor Peter Navarro, who happens to be an architect of Trump's tariffs Musk has largely avoided commenting on. These are the actual screenshots of the post, and he's posted more stuff since this. He also seemed to suggest that Navarro had an excess of self-confidence and a dearth of actual intelligence, writing, "Results in ego divided by brains." Yeah, I mean, he's just insulting his intelligence, which I actually agree. It's shocking to me that Peter Navarro has a PhD in economics. I mean, Shocking is how I would describe it. A seemingly ubiquitous presence across U.S. television, Navarro has been one of Trump's staunchest defenders over the president's controversial obsession with holding to account both allies and adversaries he believes have long been taking U.S. markets for granted at perceived expense of domestic business and jobs. This is ridiculous. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys that, and then I want to show you. So yesterday on Sunday Morning Politics, they asked Peter Navarro about, they're like, hey, Elon's coming after you. Like, and Peter Navarro is like, basically he's like, I can't remember exactly how he says it, but sorry, I have to reopen my presentation. It closed. He's basically was like, he's just some guy who makes cars or something. Like, I would never, of all the things I would say about Peter Navarro, or I mean, about Elon Musk, I do not consider him like a car guy. Like, that's even what? Like, these people are weird. And doesn't Elon have a does Elon have a degree in economics, or his degree is in physics? Oh yeah, and he might have went to school for economics, but he just dropped out. He never finished it. That's what it is.
Can we go back to Elon Musk for a second? Because I'm glad that you brought that up. He also took a shot at you personally on X, and he's going against the administration with respect to the tariff policy. The president has said in the coming months he may leave the administration. Peter, is there a rift internally?
No, I mean, look, Elon, when he's in his Doge lane is great, but we understand what's going on here. We just have to understand. Elon sells cars. And he's in Texas assembling cars that have big parts of that car from Mexico, China. The batteries come from Japan or China. The electronics come from Taiwan. And he's simply protecting his own interests, as any business person would do. We're more concerned about Detroit building Cadillacs with American engines. And that's what this is all about. So it's fine. There's no riff here. Look.
When I worked in advertising, one of my most successful verticals, I don't want to brag or anything, was the automotive vertical. I've spent so much time in Detroit. I've been on tours of Chrysler, Ford, General Motors. I know so much about random things about the auto industry no person should ever know. Peter Navarro, you sound like an idiot. I mean, that's all you could say about that. And I'm not defending Elon Musk. I'm not. But parts for cars come from all over. You think your car, just because you have a Ford, like the parts are made in America? They are not. Like, these parts are coming from all over. So that's not an Elon Musk problem. That's a you're an idiot problem. Like, and that's the problem with Republicans. It's like they hear this stuff and they're like, well, Trump sent this guy to say this to me, so it must be true. Like, this is idiocy. It's like the blind leading the other more blind guy. And it's so embarrassing. I don't even know. Whatever, I guess. What could go wrong here? What could go wrong? Oh, and this is the other thing I wanted to show you guys, because and you tell me, this article just came out yesterday. Did I not say on Liberation Day or Recession Day, whatever we're calling, can we tap the screen? We've pretty much slowed to no tapping. Can we get to 200K? Let's get to 150K. This is our tap counter up here. Please tap the screen. Oh, I disappeared our goals. Also, I'm trying to get back to 400 subscriptions. You can see right here. If you would like to buy some subscriptions, again, you can buy them and randomly assign them to other people or whatever. If you would like to help me get back to 400 subscriptions, it would be much appreciated. Or this is my Cash App and Venmo, just like my name, A Girl Has No Name. All of my research and stuff I show you, it's real free market capitalism, not fake free market capitalism like Republicans use. That's crony capitalism. You guys decide what this is worth to you. Let me pull this up, because this is the other thing. So did I not say on Liberation Day, when I was talking about an interview that Scott Bessent is George Soros's protege that learned at the feet of George Soros. He has his own hedge fund now, which actually it wasn't doing very well right before he went into the White House. But this is a real economist who has a hedge fund. So he has a fiduciary responsibility to the people who he's managing billions and billions. I don't know how much money he has in that fund, but I mean, it's billions and billions and billions of dollars. And he's basically now looks crazy. Like they're trying to pin this tariff stuff on him, and he looked like he wanted to sink into the floor and army crawl out of the interview. Like he was just like, ask Trump. Like, I didn't do this. Like, I'm a real economist. I can count. I have no idea what's going on here. Like, he looked like he wanted to die. And I said that. And then the next day, on Thursday, when I was on Fax's live and then on my live the next day, did I not say, notice how Scott Bessent's nowhere to be found? He would not do an interview on Thursday. Then he kind of popped back up. He did some interviews yesterday, but all he kept saying was, ask Trump. I don't know. Ask Trump. Look what is being reported now. Guess who's always right? I love to read body language. Trump's Treasury Secretary looking for an exit door. And if you don't know about Stephanie Ruhle, when they say MSNBC host, they're talking about Stephanie Ruhle. She was like a very high up financial executive on Wall Street. I can't remember. Oh man, now I'm forgetting what firm she used to work for. But it's kind of funny to me that now she's in politics because Stephanie Ruhle is like Stephanie Ruhle's like a financial analyst, executive powerhouse. And so she's talking. Oh, was she at Goldman? Well, there you go. Only the best of the best. Especially if you're a woman, to end up, if you're at Goldman and you're someone's at Goldman, or is it Deutsche Bank? Either one. I mean, whatever. But you get my point. If you are a woman and they allow you a desk at Goldman, you know you're good. And not because women have small brains, because of, discrimination. But anyway, so she was talking to her contacts in the finance world. And I was talking about this on Fax's Live. Sandy, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you so much. W. Sandy, you don't know what that means to me. And I will update this goal. I'm going to get there. But anyway, so she was talking to her people. This is another Daily Beast article. You can screenshot it if you're looking for it, but I'll just summarize it. She was talking to her contacts, and they basically said that Scott Bessent is like, where is the parachute and the eject button? I want out of this plane in midair. I'll just risk it. Hopefully I can stick the landing. I think what he really wants is, when is Jerome, it's rumored, but he's trying to get to the Fed. Because, Jerome Powell, his term, Trump tried to fire Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell's like, no, weirdo. I'm going to just go and do my job because the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with you. You are just some weirdo. But he's not going to make it through Trump's whole term, I don't think. So I think that when, oh my God, who bought all these subs? We're just going to pause. Who bought the sub? Tommy? Tommy, was that you? Thank you, Tommy. That's amazing. And Nancy, thank you for buying 5 subs. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Tommy, Nancy, and who was the first one? And Sandy. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. You don't know what it means. And to all the people that got subscriptions, I love there's nothing better than being in the chat and just getting a subscription. It's my favorite. Anyways, so he's basically angling to try to get to the Federal Reserve because that's a position that Trump can't control. And he believes that being the Treasury Secretary, this tariff BS is being pinned on him, and he's embarrassed, and he believes it's going to ruin his credibility and his ability to run a hedge fund in the future, which I don't disagree with. Run, Scott. I can tell by the way Scott Bessent sits in silence that he's not an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, his brain's working a little too good to be in the Trump White House. I can tell it just by the way he just looks like he wants to die. Run, Scott. Run out of there. George Soros is probably just watching him and laughing. Like, this is what you get for agreeing to do this. Listen, I want to read some of these. Some sources have said to me, this is from Stephanie Rule, he's looking for an exit door to try to get himself to the Fed because in the last few days, he's really hurting his own credibility and history in the markets. Oh, yeah, you are. Bassett has inadvertently become the face of Trump's Liberation Day, which slapped a universal 10% tariff on all U.S. imports as well. It's like he's the new Smoot and Hawley. Like, that is the kiss of death. Like, that is not good. The announcement set stock futures plummeting. Yeah, which we all know. Rule suggested that Besant, who built his own, and here do not feel sorry for this man. Besant, who built his $521 million fortune. Oh, he's one of the poorest ones in Trump's cabinet, a pauper. Managing massive hedge funds can't stomach Trump's quote, absurd tariff math. Exactly. That's why I never, after Liberation Day, I didn't go to sleep. I was watching economists around the world debate live and just be so offended by Trump's idiocy. I found it fascinating. They were just like, this is disgusting. So if you want to be an economist and be considered an economist, yeah, Scott Bessent's like, this is not it. This isn't it. This is beyond mid. This is egregious. Which some critics have slammed as, quote, kindergarten level understanding of international trade. If you're you're an economist that learned at the feet of George Soros and now you're the kindergarten level understanding of international trade, that's not it. Rule sources, Trump is, quote, not listening to his Treasury Secretary, the odd man out in the president's inner circle. And by odd man out, we mean person who's not an idiot. Which is kind of a compliment, Scott. You don't want to fit in that group. That's the true insult. If you fit in there, that would be worse for you. Don't fit in. Let Peter Navarro, you're not creating alter egos to try to get credit for things. She added, quote, Besant actually understands how the markets work. And what's happening right now is only going to hurt markets. Trump has wielded tariffs as a form of economic revenge, claiming Wednesday that the U.S. has been looted, pillaged, raped, irony, plundered by other nations for decades. You guys get my point, but I do find it funny that it's like, yeah, you thought being the Treasury it would have been cool if you were like, I don't know, Biden's Treasury Secretary. Not so cool being Trump's Treasury Secretary. It's just humiliating. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you guys could see this. Sorry, that's the way my brain looks. I want to play this one other clip from Sunday. I do find it in no way ironic or coincidental that we're in a trade war with penguins, but somehow not Russia. We have blanket tariffs on every country, including uninhabited islands. There's an island that's populated with a hunk of plastic. Thank you. That's populated with a hunk of plastic that has 10% blanket tariffs. Somehow, Putin has evaded the tariffs. Let's ponder that.
We see European NATO allies who are canceling contracts for American planes, for other weapons they were going to buy from American manufacturers because they do not trust us anymore. And I don't think there is any plan on the table that Russia will accept that will preserve Ukraine's territorial integrity. Last night, Putin sending missiles, sending bombs to Kyiv, to Zelensky's hometown, right? It is very clear what the Russians are doing here. And President Trump, who's talked about using tariffs as negotiating on a whole host of issues, put tariffs on uninhabited islands and did not put them on Russia. The administration is deporting at least one that we know of, Russian national activist who's opposed Putin. So this is part of a broader strategy.
Okay, and so I'm just pausing it because there's a question, and I'm just, I can fancy myself. I was a teacher at one point. Victoria asked, do we import anything from Russia? Do we import anything from penguins on Herd Island? What do you mean? It's not about if we do or do not, right? Sanctions and tariffs are the same things. Sanctions are a trade war. We lifted the sanctions we're not punishing Russia. We're not investigating them. We're not trying to seize their assets. We're making it easier for foreign agents to operate on U.S. soil and very clearly, think about what Trump is doing. He's attacking penguins on Herd Island, and he's hanging the Ukrainian people out to dry. I mean, I think we very clearly see what the intention is. Look how much havoc Trump can wreak. He's ruined all of our retirement accounts. We have no financial future, but he has done nothing except favorable, positive things. And I don't have the clip. I actually hadn't seen it, but I know the account where Facts got it from. There are these accounts that take Russian state media TV and they translate it. And they're like, we love Donald Trump. He does whatever we say. He's a useful idiot. Like, they are laughing at us. They're just like, yeah, Trump's the best player on our team. It's very clear that Trump's goal is to do whatever he can to ally and help Putin. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Julia Davis is one. Yes. You can look up Julia Davis on Twitter, or like you can probably also search Russian state media or something, and you'll be able, hey, nail me down, and you'll be able to find something as well. Because there's a few accounts that do it. But yeah, Julia Davis is a good one. Thank you, Tootle. Whenever my brain fails me, you're right there to help me. That's the best part about having geniuses in the chat. I don't have to think. You guys are always just like, yeah, I know. And then we're going to move on to like protests and also some very other interesting things. But before that, a couple of things. First of all, thank you so much for the gift. I cannot get enough. I want to find both though. Hold on. Or did I pepper it in with the other clips? I was going to play both clips, but maybe I'll save the other one for later. I don't know if you saw the clip I posted earlier of, maybe I'll play a couple of these. Just, really rich people upset about tariffs. I just like it. It makes me, it's like, let's all suffer together. Ben Shapiro, you've wreaked such havoc on all of us. Like what? Let's listen to Ben Shapiro cry about tariffs for a second.
Yesterday, President Trump declared that it was, in fact, Liberation Day, his giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally. Trump's reciprocal tariffs impose hundreds of billions of dollars in new taxes on Americans, be the largest tax increase since the Revenue Act of 1968. One of the biggest tax increases on American consumers in the history of America. And it's going to cost American consumers. It will cost American producers who use inputs from other countries. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted immediately more than 1,000 points. The S&P 500 plummeted more than 3%. The NASDAQ plummeted almost 4.5%. There are real world implications for this sort of stuff. Trade wars are, in fact, not good and not easy to win, particularly if you don't actually have a plan. It is predicated on a bad idea of how international trade works. A fundamental misunderstanding of trade deficits. Trade deficits they're an accounting procedure. Trade deficits have pretty much nothing to do with the health of an economy.
Did you hear him? Because I hate Ben. You guys, I don't like him either. But at least I will say this. Ben Shapiro understands economics. Sounds like Ben Shapiro took a macro and microeconomics class in college. Congratulations to you, Ben. Let's hear him say, I'm sorry, what was that, Ben, about trade deficits? It's an accounting thing? It's a line item on a spreadsheet that doesn't mean anything, and Trump just has MAGA thinking it means something because they've never taken an economics class? Oh, yeah.
Trade deficits they're an accounting procedure. Trade deficits have pretty much nothing to do with the health of an economy. I can name you a period in American history where there was a fairly large surplus in America's balance of trade. The entire Great Depression.
We're literally mirroring this is Smoot and Hawley all over again. Surprise! Yay! And where did that get us? The GD Great Depression. Quite honestly. And yeah, I don't believe me. I have a long contentious relationship I can barely stand. Remember when Ben Shapiro denied for years that he ever had lip filler? Do we need to go back to that point? Yeah, I don't like Ben Shapiro, but I do hope that there are a lot of people on the far right that do trust him as far as like, especially with finance, right? What Ben Shapiro can do very quickly and accurately is math and economics. And MAGA needs to listen. The fact you believe a trade deficit is an issue is how I know you don't understand economics. When we created a global When we created trade triads, trade deficits no longer mattered. Now, if we were not getting fair prices, if people weren't bringing products to the market at fair prices, then that could be a negotiation that happened. But none of that is happening. Trade deficits are not an issue. We are the marketplace. We are the consumers. Of course, there will be trade deficits. This is where people bring their products to be consumed. But yeah, Ben Shapiro's gross. But I do like listening to them all flail around and like be like, somebody listen to me. I'm freaking out. Please. And I don't know where my other clip, I mean, I could go find it, but I'm not. I posted a clip of Dave Portnoy, like crying about, first last week I played you the clip of Dave Portnoy. He's the owner of Barstool Sports. He lost like $7 million in crypto and stocks. And then I posted another one today, which actually, well, I can just find it. I have it somewhere. Give me 1 second. And it's actually an accurate assessment. He's basically just talking about how, this was, if you're not on X, don't go there, but I'll just tell you what's going on. MAGA is like, well, this is not as bad as 2008 or 9/11 or what about the pandemic? And Dave Portnoy is like, yeah, but those things those things happened and then we reacted to them. Like, we're talking about a guy who inherited a bull market. That means good. Nothing was wrong. The economy was expected to expand. And then for some reason, he's just like, I'm going to crash the economy. Those are very different things. You can't compare it to a worldwide pandemic or bad mortgage crisis or 9/11. Those things we did not plan for. And we were just blindsided by it, had to react to. Trump completely did not have to do this. He did not have to run the economy into the ground. He's like, I'm going to run the economy into the ground and see what happens. Oh, here, I did find the clip here. Oh, I do probably have this in the presentation. But this is that clip.
Excuse me, Kamala was like, this tariff thing's a hideous idea. A lot of people like tariffs stink, but not these pro-business people. I didn't hear any of that. You would have thought if they were like worried about it, they would have said it in the real time, but they were all behind it. Now, obviously what they're saying is the way he rolled it out is Cucamonga. Like, yes, tariffs is one thing, but penalizing your allies in this formula and this spreadsheet, which doesn't make a lot of sense to anybody, it's the way he rolled it out is what their issue is. But I mean, whatever. He said he was going to do it the whole time. And now here's where I see the issue. So Trump rolls out the tariffs, right? And it destroys the stock market. And people are comparing it to all these other crashes. This one's the only one that I can think of that's like man-made. Like the stock market crashes in 9/11. Yes. Stock market crashed COVID. Yes. But this is like a decision that one guy made that crashed the whole stock market. That's why we're calling it Orange Monday, not Black Monday.
He's calling it Orange Monday too, which I do like that because they're calling it Black Monday, but it should be Orange. I mean, that's the point. It's ballistic podiatry. Trump has shot himself in the foot. None of this had to happen. He just decided to do this to try to get more control and to have billionaires and corporations crawl to him on their knees and beg him for help. Yeah, Orange Mondays. So that is the difference. Whenever you hear some person who very clearly can't read be like, "What about 2008?" Yeah, what about it? That is completely different than some senile person just being like, hey, I'm going to consolidate power in the executive branch and use it to bankrupt the country because I'm bored and I need attention. Those are two very separate issues that we're dealing with right now. Let me pull up, and then I want to show you the second Dave Portnoy clip because I do find all of this fascinating. Wait, let me make sure I get the right one. I want to get the whole clip. I have it in pieces. Okay, it's the second one. Sorry, if you just knew how many. Well, now you can see this one. Okay.
are like a year and a half away, I think. If the stock market...
Oh, sorry. By the way, I think I have the beginning. He's saying elections. He's now talking about the midterms, which that's why I like this clip, because he's basically, as an investor who's lost $7 million, he's saying like, hey, you have some time, but if this shit's still going on, the midterms are going 100% Democratic.
The midterm elections are like a year and a half away, I think. If the stock market sucks, there's going to be a blue wave. Like if the stock market is like what it is right now, and it's becoming close to the midterm elections, we will have like 100% Democrats. 100%. Because that's how people vote. And I would too.
To be clear, this man is wildly wealthy. We're talking about few $100 million. So I just want you to know he's delusional, right? Like we're talking people, look, they're still, even if let's say the stock market goes back up, they're still stealing Social Security. They're still stealing Medicaid. Like that, you know what, like, but I just want you to know you're listening to a very wealthy person talk, because he doesn't give up about, you know, things normal people care about.
In a year and a half. I'm not in the panicking party yet. But if this tariff thing just is a total disaster, and we're a year and a half away from this thing, and stock market hasn't rebounded, and this trade war is a debacle, and inflation, everything's going to be in the shitter because of it, because of the tariffs. If that's the case in a year and a half, it's all Democrats. And I don't think Trump is stupid. I think he's very smart. He knows he
that's where you really took a wrong turn, my friend.
has a window of time to prove this tariff. I'm choking. That's how choked up I am.
He's like, oh, I'm not panicking yet. I've seen you speak before. You are panicking. You've been talking about this incessantly for 5 days. I don't even know if you've slept.
He has a window, a runway to prove that this tariff plan works, or he's going to have to start making moves. And by the way, I think he already can. I think he already can spin this to be like, this country called me. This country did this. We negotiated a better rate there. I don't know what's going on with China. Like, I don't know we'll ever get anywhere with China. But all these other countries, I think we can. And I think the stock market will rebound. So I think you got to hang tight. You got to stay tight. Now, obviously, if I had a crystal ball, I would have sold 3 days ago and rebought today and get the 20. I think you could do that, right? I don't know about short term. I've held a lot of these stocks for over a year. I don't know if you got to wait 30 days. That's one of those things. DDTG doesn't like to get caught up in the weeds of the rules.
It's not spiraling.
And how things work. I have people for that. I'm not that. But I'm not selling. I'm not even thinking of selling. I'm want to buy. Obviously, you got to have dry powder to do that. I'll also say, like, I've seen a little bit of, this was last week, like Clay Travis, Will Kane. They're like, don't look at your 401k. Since when do people care about the stock market? That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. Let's be honest. And I prefer Trump. And he says it sometimes. He's been like, I don't want things to go down. I would rather people on the right who support Trump, no matter what he does, what he says. Like when you say stuff like that to me, it's like, well, Trump could fucking cut someone's head off. You're like, well, you know, did he really? Like, let's call a spade a spade. Everybody has the right to panic and party and be worried about the stock market, their 401k, their portfolio. Don't suddenly be like, oh, don't look at your portfolio. Don't worry about it. Bullshit. Everybody looks at their portfolio. Everyone looks at their stock market. Everybody looks at how much money is in the bank. So it's a big deal. And Trump should be like, I fucking get it. It's a big fucking deal. But I'm trying to save the country, which he is saying, like, just bear with me here. Like, I'm not going to let, and he is kind of saying it. But again, the golf course thing, like, no, it's a big deal. Like, this is a big fucking deal. We've had
thing he's mad Trump's on the golf course. This is a guy trying to convince you he doesn't care he lost $7 million, but he very much cares. Yeah, Dave Portnoy is ill.
One of the biggest stock market crashes maybe the biggest man-made, like by decision or a policy decision, a specific one policy decision that I'm aware of, definitely since I've been following the stock market, nothing even like it. So it's a huge fucking deal. The midterm.
Hey, Dave Portnoy's totally fine. Owner of Barstool Sports doesn't care at all. It just seems like he has not slept or stopped talking about any of this in like 5 days. So don't worry. He's totally fine there, guys. He just wants you to know he's fine. He's going to write it out. It's totally fine. He's refreshing his portfolio every 5 seconds. Everything's going to be fine, though. I have the worst news. I just got this, so I'm just going to say this out loud. The Supreme Court has temporarily blocked the return, right? Judge Boasberg demanded they bring the guy back who Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man who's never been charged with a crime and was just sent to El Salvador and had his day in immigration court, and the judge had said he couldn't be sent there. Judge Paula Gines, who ordered that the administration return the migrant Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia by Monday, had engaged in district court diplomacy. Temporarily blocked a trial judge's order directing the United States to return a Salvadorian migrant. They were supposed to return him by tonight. The Chief Justice, acting on his own, issued an administrative stay, an interim measure meant to give the justices some breathing room. Oh yeah, just leave him there where he's in danger. The only place he couldn't be returned to was El Salvador because he was in danger. So yeah, you get some breathing room, and then that guy he's probably doing fine in there, in the one place where he is not safe. Just leave him in there. The Chief Justice, acting on his own, issued an administrative stay, an interim measure meant to give the justices some breathing room while the full court considers the matter. He ordered the migrants' lawyers to file their brief on Tuesday, so tomorrow. They have to, the brief in support of Kilmar Abrego Garcia needs to be filed tomorrow. But the federal district court judge in Maryland, Paula, it's Xinis, Genies, I don't know how to pronounce it, said Zinis, if it's Spanish, Zinis, had the administration said the administration committed a grievous error that, quote, shocks the conscience by sending migrant Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia to the notorious prison last month. Oh, John D. Sauer, the U.S. Solicitor General, said John Sauer is the guy whose voice sounds like RFK Jr. I forgot he's the Solicitor General. Ew. Gross. Anyways, but that, I mean, it's not, at first when I saw that, I thought that John Roberts they weren't going to bring him home for sure. And I was about to be like, I need to go cry somewhere. But no, I guess it's just, they need to file a brief tomorrow. So never mind. I will not have a complete meltdown in front of your eyes and just, is he still okay? I mean, probably not. To be honest, just to give you an idea, and I've told this story now 100 times. Well, actually, let's just pivot, because I mean, that's enough of rich people complaining about worrying about whether or not they're slightly less poor or slightly more poor. It's kind of gross. Anyways, let me just remind you of who Kilmar Abrego Garcia is. And actually, I have will be moved to. I have the 60 Minutes, not just on him specifically, but I don't know if anyone caught it yesterday. 60 Minutes did a piece on all of these unfortunate people who were denied due process and mailed there. So, I have this really good piece. Okay, I have a couple of ways we can watch this, but I was going to find the Jean Favre piece. This is Kilmar Abrego Garcia is the guy I told you how JD Vance got dragged across Twitter. I've never seen so many, because leftists are like herding cats. I've never seen so many powerful people, immigration lawyers, ACLU people. I've never seen so many people come together to shame a person in my life. JD Vance was literally dragged off the internet at 2 a.m. He started telling lies about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So I want to find that video because it's a personal point of fear. It makes me furious that he tried to lie, and I'm also glad that they corrected him over and over and over. And by corrected, I mean dragged him. The dragging was unreal. Sorry. Just finding. Let's see. Is Thursday? What day did that happen? Oh, yeah. So I should probably find Wednesdays. Tuesday, Thursday. Yep. Here we go. 4-2. Give me 1 second, because thank God he's not going to be officially trapped there. For a second, I thought I was going to have a very bad day. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'll just remind you of who he is. And this is, so the fight with JD Vance, when everyone started attacking JD Vance for being a liar. I mean, no surprise. JD Vance is now just, I guess that's who he is. He's a pathological liar who's beholden to the ethics of the bar. But this is John Favreau. He's from Pod Save America. So he was like adding JD Vance and Marco Rubio and be like, hey, you disappeared this man who, like, even Pam Bondi, crazy Pam Bondi and the DOJ are like, oh, we should not have deported him. They admitted it was a mistake. He never should have been removed from the country. And then JD Vance continued to tell lies about this man. This is the man that John Roberts said, like, you know, they need some time to consider. He was supposed to be returned to America by tonight. Trump said they couldn't get him out.
I need to tell you all about my Twitter fight with JD Vance. The news just broke that for the first time, the Trump administration admitted in court that they sent a father from Maryland to rot in a dictator's torture based on, quote, an error and, quote, an oversight. Even worse, the Trump administration is also arguing in court that even though they've mistakenly sent this man to a Salvadoran prison, they have no ability to bring him back. The Atlantic broke the story Monday night. The man's name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He came to the U.S. in 2011 because real gang members in El Salvador were threatening to kill him. He married an American citizen. He works full time. He's caring for 2 kids. One is a 5-year-old with autism who can't hear well or communicate. In 2019, Garcia spent a year in ICE detention because he was accused of being a gang member, an accusation based only on his Chicago Bulls hoodie and a single informant who claimed that Garcia belonged to a chapter of MS-13 in a state where he's never lived. Even the police said they didn't believe the informant. To this day, Garcia has never been charged or convicted of any crime in any country. Garcia ultimately won his case. A judge freed him and gave him a specific legal protection from being deported to El Salvador because the judge was worried that they'd torture or kill him. 6 years later, just a few weeks ago, as Garcia was
only place he could not be sent to was exactly the place they mailed him, just to give you an idea of what type of danger we are talking about.
Picking up his son after work at his grandmother's house, ICE agents stopped him, handcuffed him, took him away from his family, and sent him to prison in El Salvador without any due process. And his wife only knew this because she saw his picture on TV. I was shaking with anger when I read this story last night. I tweeted about it. I asked if Marco Rubio or Elon Musk or JD Vance had any comment. At 1 a.m. Eastern, JD Vance wrote back. He said Garcia was a convicted MS-13 gang member, a lie, with no legal right to be here, another lie, and told me it was, quote, gross to get fired up about the government admitting that it sent an innocent man to a foreign prison. You know what's gross, JD? That unlike your own Justice Department, you can't admit that you fucked up. That you and Trump refused to call up the Salvadoran dictator who we're paying $6 million a year to jail people, some who've committed no crime, and ask him to release Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Or Andre Romero, the gay Venezuelan makeup artist who's also been wrongly imprisoned. Or any of the more than a dozen people you've now sent to be starved and tortured based on nothing more than a few suspicious tattoos. That's fucking gross. And people need to speak up. Call your member of Congress. Ask Democratic politicians to speak up. Because if JD Vance and Trump get away with this, it will not stop with immigrants.
It almost never does, is what he says at the end. But yeah, so I just want to be clear, just to give you some more background, because you know me, I went ahead and read every court document. He is from El Salvador. His mother had a pupusa stand, like a little food stand. They started to be extorted and tormented by a gang in El Salvador saying, hey, like, you can give us a little bit of money now, but you owe us your son, basically. Like, your son is going to join this gang. So eventually, like, after a year, they're just like, you have to flee because there's nothing we can do. So in 2016, he crossed the border into the United States illegally. Then under the radar, no one hears anything. 2019 in Prince George's County, Maryland. He's outside a Home Depot with 3 other immigrants, looking for work. One, I think, is a CI. Basically, the court documents are a little vague, but it seems like one of them was probably a CI. And they're all just kind of standing there, whatever. And then a detective approaches them, starts questioning them. A CI says he's in a gang in New York. This man has never been to New York in his life, and names a specific gang. I can't remember. It's like a street or something. But again, this man has never been to New York in his life. Oh, the other evidence was that he had a Chicago Bulls jersey. Now, JD Vance implied that he had been convicted of being a gang member in court. No, when we say that the CIA said this was about a bond hearing, right? So it was either, hey, we're going to release you and you can go about your business until your court date, or you're going to stay in jail. It was a bond hearing, and the judge was just like, well, this CI said it, so you're staying in here. And then he sat there for a year in custody, which by all accounts has really effed him up. And then he got his day in court in front of a real immigration judge who said, without a shadow of a doubt, he has proved his case. He has testified credibly. His witnesses testified credibly, and it is not safe to send him specifically back to El Salvador. The one place he was collected and mailed back to is the one place he could not be deported to. And again, Pam Bondi and the administration have said unequivocally, we made a mistake. And then JD Vance continued to gaslight and lie about this. That's why people are upset. And a judge ruled yesterday that he had to be returned by tonight to the United States. And our tax dollars, just so you know, the Solicitor General, John Sauer, who, if you're wondering who that is, John Sauer, that is the attorney who argued in front of the Supreme Court Trump's immunity case that got him that giant ruling from John Roberts that like Trump could do no wrong. That was John Sauer. If you've ever heard his voice, it's almost as bad as RFK. That's now our Solicitor General. Our tax dollars are paying to deny this man due process. That's now what our tax dollars go towards, to pay for Trump's delusions. And so, but again, it's not a final ruling, but that's why I kind of was suddenly shocked, because it just said Supreme Court temporarily blocks order to return wrongly deported man. And I was scared that he wasn't going, it was possibly over. I was trying to see what the ruling was. But that's who Kilmar Abrego Garcia are. There's other people there. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you guys so much. Oh, and we made it to 200K. Amazing. Keep tapping the screen. Let's get to 250K. I'll update it right now. And I think on that note, since we're pivoting to immigration, I have some other things, because 60 Minutes did this huge piece last night. I don't know if anyone caught any of it, but let me pull up some of it because there's more information on all this stuff. But anyways, that guy was supposed to be returned by tonight. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but it looks like his lawyers have until tomorrow to file a brief basically in his defense. So it's not great, but it's also not the end of the world. Oh, well, I'll show you. This is what I was going to show you before that order came out. This is just from ABC.
Administration is facing a midnight deadline to return a man who was deported to El Salvador after an administrative error. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia's wife, who is a U.S. citizen, is pleading for him to be brought back to the U.S. The judge called his deportation an illegal act and grievous error and is ordering the government to facilitate his return. But the Justice Department says that's not feasible. Now the DOJ is putting its own attorneys on leave, saying they failed to...
Trump can turn the entire world upside down. He can rob our retirement accounts. He can deny us Medicaid, Medicare. He can take SNAP away. He can literally ruin lives. He can abolish the Department of Education. All against, he can literally he can violate the Constitution and violate impoundment and should be impeached for it. But he can't call up the guy our tax dollars are paying $6 million a year and get someone back. I'm just saying, it's a very obvious lie.
Zealously advocate for the government's interests. Let's bring in senior reporter Catherine Falders for more. Catherine, the judge here is saying bring him back. The government's saying that's not really possible. So what now?
You guys, I want to point this out. If the Supreme Court rules tomorrow and says he can't come back, basically what we're saying now is, because I know MAGA has no concept of how the Constitution works. It does not matter if you're an undocumented immigrant, if you're Billy on a trip to Disney World who lives in France, if you're a legal permanent resident, if you're on a student visa, if you are a citizen born in the United States. We all of our feet that are on American soil get due process, right? And if the Supreme Court says you can disappear a person who the Justice Department themselves says we never should have sent him there. He had his day in a court and an immigration judge said we could not send him back there. And they say, oh, that's fine. Disappear him there. Due process is over. The Constitution is dead. So everyone should care about this. I mean, that clip is less important. I want to find this. Let me find the 60 Minutes clip that is more consequential and really tells the story of everyone who is trapped in there. Ugh, trigger warning in advance because it is not good. It will literally rip your heart out. I love this new account too. I should show you. I mean, it's not that new, but it just popped up. Not too long ago, like since Trump got in office. I'll show you in a second because I assume they're all across the internet. I guess we're not going to get to all this stuff I wanted to show you guys today, but this is more important. Here we go. For you guys, it's here's the account I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, it's Blue ATL Georgia. If you don't follow this account, it's a really good account. 10 of 10 recommend follow this account. They're all across the internet, so follow this account. It's great account. Lots of good information. But this is the piece that was done on this labor prison camp that Trump is mailing people to yesterday. The gay hairdresser that has no business there. He just had a tattoo of a crown that said mom and a crown that said dad or on the inside of his wrist. So now he's been disappeared without due process. He entered the great job. And why does Tom Homan always seem like he just came from the dentist and his mouth is numbed by Novocaine? Why can't he ever speak? Yeah, you did it, Tom. Great job. Keep up the great work.
First.
But are they the worst? The Trump administration has yet to release the identities of the Venezuelan men it sent to El Salvador last month.
If you're sure, let me help you out here. If they were sure, we would have their identities. Period. You know you're not sure. If you were sure, if they were the worst of the worst, then you would not be hiding who they were. You'd be like, here are the leaders of these cartels. Aren't you glad we got them? Here they are. You would have had a parade while they walked onto planes, but instead you grabbed a bunch of brown people who had no criminal records and may or may not have ever done something wrong in their life and disappeared them into an El Salvadorian labor camp, never to be heard from again. And so you can't tell anyone who they are. because there will be investigations. Literally. And the people we know, it's because their loved ones were like, oh, I recognize the scars on his head as his head was being shaved, or I recognize that tattoo. That's how we know who just a few are. And by the way, I rarely hear people talking about this, but I've reported on it. They sent 2 women there to an all men's labor camp. And they're like, yeah, we don't take women here. They will not survive. So of the people that were mailed to El Salvador, women, they could not even round up men. Just to give you an idea of how pathetic all of this is. So 12 people. There you go. And that's why they don't release their names.
For 3%.
So our tax dollars, we are paying $6 million a year. We could have flown these people back to their countries and dropped them off and not be paying $6 million a year. 75% plus 3%, it's just unknown. So 78% for no known criminal records. We should have just deported them, and then we don't have to spend $6 million a year housing people. Why are we spending this money? We know nothing about this agreement or why we're doing it or what it entails. Also, this is a lie, right? I've walked, if you watch the People's Receipts every day, I walked you through, right? The ACLU got a hold of the checklist for this. It takes 6 points. There's no investigation. All it says is someone says you are, so you are, right? Some ICE person just says, I feel like they are a gang member, so they are. I feel like this Michael Jordan tattoo means they're a gang member, so that's what it means. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you so much. So when they say that there's an investigation, no, there wasn't. I've walked us through the checklist. I had it on here. You watch the People's Receipts day in, day out. I took you through the actual checklist for Tren de Aragua, for those tattoos, right? Aaron Reichlin Melnick, one of the smartest, most amazing immigration lawyers in the country. They found 11 of the 12 tattoos, right, that have nothing. They are not gang tattoos. They're a British guy who owns a tattoo parlor in 2008 in England. It's just some random guy, or it's a Thai tattoo parlor in Thailand, right? They said, here's what constitute gang tattoos. Those images were then reversed image searched, and not one of them belonged to an actual gang member. They were random Pinterest photos or photos found on the internet other places. Yes, I thank you. Biggie was there. Some people are on this journey with me. It is everything that they are saying, when you dive deeper into it, is in fact not true. That's the most important part of all of this. None of it is true. Almost at martial law. Don't you guys worry that when he stays in office, we're pretty much there now. They weren't brown, so jokes on that. These people made the mistake of being brown. Welcome to hell. This is real life, people. That's why, and it's like, I just want to be clear. Every single thing we just heard, I've already talked about, but as a teacher, I believe in reinforcing information. So if we're repeating a bit, but I just think it's important. And that is the first time I've seen, let's say, for-profit media put together a report like that on this. I mean, I follow Aaron Reichlin Melnick, and I report, because he's a genius who goes in detail on all this stuff. And so I've given even more information on it, but it took until last night for somebody to say something. I just want to show you this. This is just to remind you, and I suggest if you want to know all about this, Aaron Reichlin Melnick, he testifies in front of Congress once a month. This is the foremost immigration lawyer in the country. If you want for all things going on with immigration and all of this craziness, follow Aaron Reichlin Melnick. You will not regret it. But I just want to show you how much BS the Trump administration is spewing. This is the Alien Enemies Act Act form that allows them to use wartime to disappear people into a foreign country's labor camps, never to be heard from again, right? The ACLU got a hold of this in Discovery. Alien Enemies Act validation guide, confirming all it takes to be sent to rot in a prison in El Salvador is 1, having a tattoo an ICE officer says, not is, says, right, is a gang tattoo. And 2, displaying logos, symbols, or clothes an ICE officer says, not are, says are gang signs. That's it. This is the checklist. Watch, I'll give you some more examples. It's some of the most disturbing I've ever seen in my life. In order for ICE to declare someone an alien enemy, this is for wartime, this was for schmozzies, ICE must first determine they are Venezuelan over the age of 14. Oh, military age men, sound familiar? Then, second, find 8 points on a scoring guide they made up, randomly out of thin air. This is a made-up thing. It's 4 points for having alleged gang tattoos. All you need is 8. Halfway there, alleged gang tattoo. Andrew, the gay makeup artist, a crown that said mom and a crown that said dad. That's you. And 4 points for displaying gang logos or symbols. What are gang logos or symbols? I mean, that's like a Bulls jersey. This checklist is shocking. A person can be declared an alien enemy based only on communications with someone ICE says, not is proven to be, ICE says is a member. So what I'm saying is you text someone, they say, I think that's a gang member. I don't know for sure. I just feel like it is. Sorry, that counts. 6 points for texting a known member of Tren de Aragua, and 3 points for Venmoing or Cash Apping a known member equals 9 points equals disappeared into Secot. One thing on this checklist even violates the Alien Enemies Act proclamation itself, which applies only to real members of the gang, by assigning 10 points to this category. A person who admits to being an associate, that's not a gang member, by the way, if you understand the law, not the same as a member, is automatically deemed a member anyways, disappeared, and no one's saying don't have a day in court. Have a day in court. But this is denied due process under a wartime ancient law and disappeared where our tax dollars are paying to house people in a labor camp. By far, the most terrifying part of this checklist, is the association and symbolism section. Many experts say TDA does not use tattoos. All experts, or gang signs like some other groups. That's actually a lot smarter. And some of the tattoos ICE claims are TDA tattoos are things many innocent people have, like roses. Imagine a guy's roommate is someone ICE says, doesn't have to actually be, just says is a TDA member. 2 points for residing with him. 2 points for closely associating with your own roommate. 2 points for being in a group photo they find on Facebook. Again, your roommate doesn't have to be a TDA member. Just ICE has to say they feel like they might be. 2 points for social media posts with him. Equals 8 points equals disappeared without due process into Secot in El Salvador, never to be heard from again. With this checklist, ICE can declare any Venezuelan an alien enemy without any concrete evidence, based solely on an ICE officer's interpretation of tattoos, hand signs, or the bad luck of having a roommate that ICE thinks is TDA. This is why due process matters. One final thing to flag. A person doesn't even need to hit 8 points. Here's the best part of all of it. Oh, you thought it took 8 points to get you disappeared without due process? Nope. To be declared a TDA member, the form itself says once a person hits 6 points or higher, if you can't find those last 2, just have your weird supervisor sign off. Disappeared. Alien enemy. Under ancient wartime law, no due process. Just have a supervisor sign off for those last 2 points, gone forever. Adding some more context here, the huge problem with a lot of these is subjectivity. The document listed above includes an ICE list of what some Tren de Aragua identifiers may be, dressed in high-end urban streetwear, so a Bulls jersey, TDA member. Often wears sports attire from U.S. professional teams, TDA member. Oh, and here's the best part. I want to show you this because I want to make it clear how absurd the gang this is not real. This is what I was talking about. When I say like I do better reporting than 60 Minutes, I mean it. Like that great little piece they finally put together after 2 months or after a month, but like we've already been all over this. Another document filed by the ACLU in court is an unclassified ICE document showing what it alleges. This is what ICE uses to identify Tren de Aragua gang tattoos, right? And the New York Post, which owned by Rupert Murdoch, also published this in 2024. But the reverse image searches show these images were stolen from the internet and have absolutely nothing to do with TDA. I always talk about that nautical star there in the middle on the bottom. Every man I know that graduated high school between 2000 and 2000, like, I don't know, 18 has those damn stars on their arms in Arizona. Good luck. Don't leave the country. Make sure you're not brown. You will not make it back. But this is what I want to show you. So these are reverse. Thank you. Oh my God. I love Dia de los Muertos. That was really cool. Thank you for the gift. These are reverse image searches. So these are, ICE is literally using these images saying these are gang tattoos. We know for sure. So the Jumpman was reverse image searched, which the New York Post claims refers to 2030 de Janeiro, a Venezuelan neighborhood. It's Michael Jordan's number, guys. It was first posted on a Twitter account in 2015 by a random Michael Jordan fan account. No, the exact image they're saying is a gang tattoo is not on the arm of a gang member. They got it off of Michael Jordan fan account. The AK tattoo posted in the ICE Homeland Security Investigations intelligence report appears to be taken from a random Turkish tattoo artist profile. Huh. I thought it was a TDA tattoo. It's not. Oh, here's another great one. The train image, which the New York Post described as a shot out to the gang's origins, as a railroad labor union in Aragua, Venezuela, dates back to at least 2015, where it can be found on a random blog listing titled 70 Train Tattoo Ideas for Men. Be very afraid. Here we go. The Hijos de Dios, if you don't know, that means children of God, which ICE HSI claims means Hijos de Dios, a bizarre suggestion which isn't supported. So just HJ can be found on the Pinterest page of a Thai tattoo parlor known as Samurai Tattoos, where it appears to just be someone's initials and have no further meaning. Uh-oh, watch out for that crown. The Real hasta la muerte tattoo, which this person has pointed out is the title of a hit album by Puerto Rican reggaeton artist Anuel, is taken from a screenshot of a 2023 TikTok from a Colombian tattoo artist, which has a Anuel hashtag, making its intent clear. This is just the name of an album. Don't you dare like music, or you will be in an El Salvadorian prison labor camp. The nautical star tattoo image used in the Homeland Security document is just obviously not a Tren de Aragua tattoo. Yeah, every white guy I know in Arizona has this tattoo. Has clearly been floating around the internet for years. Here's a random Facebook meme posted in 2020 using the image, and I've seen some examples from even earlier. Cool. I've never seen that gift. Thank you so much for the gifts. Let's get to 300K. Keep tapping the screen. This is real life. We're disappearing people under the Alien Enemies Act for this BS. And finally, the clock tattoo, which the New York Post called a common gang tattoo, was first posted to Instagram by a British tattoo artist February 2016. And it appears to be on the arm of a British guy named Pete, who likes Cuban cigars. Watch out for Pete. He's somewhere in the UK. Possible gang member. And there's one more, I think, on here, if I remember. This is, if you want to look up where, when this was all posted, and you can reverse image search these on your own. I did it on my own just to make sure I could find them all, and it's all real. This is the article that was published in 2024. Oh, here's the crown. This is why Andrew, the gay hairdresser, has been disappeared and may or may not ever make it out alive. A user on the other site found the crown tattoo on Pinterest. So that's 8 out of 10 tattoos in the document which are not related to TDA. This is the tattoo they said is indicative of a TDA member. It was on Pinterest. My body is my journals and my tattoos are my story, Johnny Depp. It's on a Pinterest page. This is what we are using. This is what ICE is using to ruin people's lives and disappear them without due process. That's why when I saw that update, I was so scared. This is Andrew, the gay tattoo artist. This is, I mean, that's what I'm just showing you. These are the tattoos. These are the tattoos. This is why he's trapped there. And let me help you, as my dad is indigenous Mexican and black, but I mean, most of my family is indigenous Mexican. We're from the Yaqui tribe. Like, I disappeared into South America. I've lived in many Spanish speaking countries south of here. It is not safe for that man in that place. If Andrew makes it out of there alive, it will be a miracle. If you think people have backwards ideas about the LGBTQIA here, the Catholic Church has a stranglehold on Spanish-speaking countries. He is not safe. To talk about a violation of rights, it will be a miracle if he makes it out of there. This is why I'm so passionate about this stuff. This is ridiculous. And why does this apply to you? Because I know people just want to be like, oh, well, those are brown people. No, it doesn't matter. You don't understand the Constitution. Anyone's feet who are on U.S. soil has the right to due process. Think about it. If you're in a travel, why would people go on vacation here if they can be accused of doing a crime and disappeared to another country? Why does that make sense? Anybody on U.S. soil, that used to be why we were the envy of the world, was because people enjoyed and could be assured due process. If the government points at you and said, you did this, you have the right to defend yourselves. It doesn't matter if you're here legally, illegally, legal permanent resident, student visa, going to Disneyland with your family. None of that matters. If we give up due process, we give up our rights. The fact that MAGA can't grasp that is how I know they can't read. It's literally, I mean, why would you give up your own rights? Why? Yeah, we used to be a safe place to go. Now we're a joke. Now we're just a joke. Now we are a joke. And let me show you one more thing that you, I'm sure, will literally not believe is reality, as long as we're now on the immigration train, because this is not, I want to find this video. And this is, yeah, I know school districts are sending out notices to bus drivers and stuff. There are bus drivers that drive that don't speak English very well, and they're being detained, pulled over, disappeared. All of this stuff is real life and it's happening. But let me show you this, one of the more disturbing things that I saw. Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second. You, TikTok. Can we keep tapping the screen? Let's get to 300K as fast as possible. I think we should probably be at 3 o'clock near 400K since we start at 11:30 now. So we are pretty behind. I know I'm showing you a bunch of horrific stuff, but let's keep tapping the screen. Tapping is clapping. If you would like to support me, A Girl Has No Name, just like it's spelled in my account name, or my Cash App and Venmo. All of this research I do and put together, I do because of your tips and donations. So I appreciate you guys so much. Oh, just passed it. Give me 1 second. Almost there. Almost there. Oh, where are you? This is a man. What I'm about to show you is a truck driver who was driving through, I believe, Arkansas. But sorry, I've watched so many things a day. This is This is what we're doing now. Oh, wait. Did I do it back? Hold on. I think I added this twice. Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Couldn't believe it. Going through Arkansas, I thought it was a joke. Got stopped at the way station in Arkansas and was handed a piece of paper. And it says, "Can you read and write English?" I said, "Yes, sir, I sure can." He goes, "Can you read this?" So I read it to myself, and I was like, okay. I started handing it back. He goes, no, read it out loud for me. So I read it out loud for him, and, it was short and sweet, no problem. He goes, "Now, can you write this for me on this paper?" And I did, and there was a whole bunch of people that had already written on it. And I was actually witnessing people in handcuffs that had been pulled in. And I was like, "What's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, we've come across now that if you cannot read or write in English, that it's a $5,000 fine. And if you have a company in Arkansas that employs people that can't read or write in English, it's a $10,000 fine paid on the spot. If you cannot pay it, you're automatically arrested and lose your license." What a shocker.
Did you hear that, MAGA? That's all of you. Reading and writing in English. I'm not sure how difficult the reading and the writing is going to be, but that's pretty much most of all of you, as far as I can know. I'm not sure how your writing is, but the reading, it's not good. I know none of you guys are reading, so good luck with that. But none of this is, I've showed like hundreds of clips of these weird interstate travel laws where different states are doing sort of bounty hunter things or have these different ideas of trapping people and things. I've played hundreds of videos about different states in the South who are stopping people in interstate travel. And if you haven't, also, if you are leaving the country and for whatever reason, my suggestion is to wipe your devices. Make sure you don't have anything on your devices you don't want anyone to find. They're being instructed to go into social media and search people's social media. So I would just say at any checkpoint, whether interstate or federal, you just need to think. Like if you're going to get stopped at some checkpoint that is federal, interstate travel can have federal checkpoints. If you're within 100 miles of the border, there are federal checkpoints, and I literally showed you guys a video. What was that book that came out? Michael Wolff, this guy, Michael Wolff, just wrote a book, and it's about Trump's first cabinet. That's why I'm saying MAGA can't read. It's a joke, because I was just playing a clip last week, like last Thursday. A book came out. It's by a guy called Michael Wolff. It's called Fire and Fury. That's what it's called. I just remembered. And it's like his first cabinet in his first administration, literally like Reince Priebus, Steve Mnuchin, who was the Treasury Secretary, saying that Trump cannot read. That he refused. Like if they gave him like a half a page memo, he would refuse to read it. So I find it very ironic. And I've also played clips in the past. Like a month ago, I was playing a clip of a bus of school children who were pulled over. They were going to, this happens if you live in a border state, right? If you're within 100 miles of the border and you're going to play a high school inside that zone, you have to pass through a federal checkpoint. There are federal checkpoints at 100 miles within the border. The bus driver couldn't, I guess, speak or write English sufficiently. So they pulled the bus over, searched everyone, like terrified the children, and nobody knows what happened to the bus driver. And then this was in New Mexico, and the school district sent out a notice. Like I played a whole piece, like local New Mexico piece about this, where they sent out a letter and said, hey, if for any reason your children shouldn't be on these buses, for any reason, like they're undocumented, no, we can't control what happens if this bus is pulled over. Oh yeah. I mean, this stuff is happening all the time. And another thing that's happening is they're just seizing student visas. I talked about last Friday, I was playing a clip that they seized 9 or 8 student visas on ASU's campus at Arizona State, 4 on U of A's campus. Randomly, they won't say why, they're just revoking visas. Then I see another video come out where a bunch in California, they're just sending lists of student visas that have been revoked and nobody knows why. This stuff is all happening in silence so fast that they're not even saying anything. Yeah, strawberries are about to be $300 a gallon. Groceries are about to be super expensive at the pump. I agree. Totally agree. Groceries are about to be so expensive at the pump. Never before seen expenses at the pump. But anyways, so that's why when I say we need to keep our eyes on whatever the Supreme Court is about to do tomorrow, I mean we need to keep our eyes on it, because whatever happens to Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, that guy has no business. He needs to be returned to the United States. He should not be disappeared. It'll be huge. Exactly. Ex-border agents talks about immigration laws. Sorry, I'm just reading. Oh, Bobby G. Yeah. Talks about immigration laws. Okay. Yeah. I have heard tell of that. Yeah. Also, like, I love immigration lawyers, right? Like Rollo, if you guys, if you know Rollo, I think he's Idaho, right? Like I was about to say Salt Lake, but actually I think he's from Idaho. If you know Rollo, the immigration lawyer, I recommend follow immigration lawyers, because that's what I'm saying. Aaron Reichel and Melnick, like, all of that stuff, like that 60 Minutes thing, great piece, but I gave way more specific information 2 weeks ago about this, thanks to Aaron Reichel and Melnick. So yeah, like and Rollo's amazing. Like, so it's not that I'm not saying definitely Bobby's great. Like, but I'm just saying, like, lawyers who understand immigration law, if you want to have things broken down, like, you know me, the law is the last place the truth matters. Lawyers are beholden to the ethics of the bar. So you're going to get a lot of really good information. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and anyways, let's just pivot from immigration for a second. I want to get back on gross wealth and us being stolen from. Robert Reich made a video actually today that I need to show you guys, and this is going to sicken you. It's about, I didn't even know this. I mean, I understand that centi is a Latin prefix meaning 100. I was not aware that, like, there's 15 centi billionaires now. This will disgust you.
The word billionaire didn't even exist until 1844. 50 years later, we got multi-billionaire. And for the next 127 years, that was enough. But in 2020, while the working class faced near record unemployment during the pandemic, the wealthiest Americans faced a different problem. Some of them had gotten so rich, there was no longer a word to describe just how rich they were. That's why today, I want to bring you one of the newest additions to the English language, centibillionaire. People with $100 billion or more. Now, what's it like?
It's all just puke. That's what we need to hear about today.
Being one of history's first centibillionaires. It's hard to even imagine, but let's try it by comparing them to the less fortunate, by which I mean just regular billionaires. If you're a regular billionaire, you can afford a private jet. If you're a centibillionaire, you can afford a brand new Gulfstream jet every single day for more than 10 years. Not sure what you do with a new Gulfstream jet every day, but maybe give one to each of your closest 4,000 friends. A regular billionaire would struggle to buy their own professional baseball team. It's sad, I know, but a centibillionaire could easily buy every team in the entire major league. If you're a regular billionaire, you can donate to your alma mater and get your name on a building. If you're a centibillionaire, you could single-handedly give every teacher in America an $8,000 raise. for 5 straight years. Of course, that's not all you could do. $100 billion is enough to wipe out all the medical debt in the United States, or provide permanent shelter for every homeless person in America, or buy COVID-19 vaccines for the entire world. Basically, what I'm saying is $100 billion is a lot of money. More than 2.5 million times what the average American worker makes in a year. So here's the big question. Are these centibillionaires so rich because they work 2.5 million times harder than the average American? Are they really 100 times smarter than the typical billionaire? Personally, I don't think so. The reason for the rise of centibillionaires is that for decades, wealth hasn't trickled down. It's gushed up all the way to the very top. And that's not an accident. As it turns out, the system that the super rich themselves carefully crafted and lobbied for benefits the super rich. And while you may not own more private jets than your average centibillionaire, you probably do pay a higher tax rate. And thanks to legal loopholes and the Trump tax cuts, when the wealthiest Americans die, they get to pass on most of their centibillions to their kids, tax-free. We've got 2 choices as a country. We can tax the richest Americans fairly and invest that money in ways that benefit all of us. Or we can keep doing what we're doing and watch as centibillionaires get even richer while the rest of us get left behind. If you think wealth and power are too concentrated in the hands of a privileged few now, just imagine what a few more years of trickle-down nonsense will bring. Of course, it won't be all bad. At least trillionaire is easy to say.
Love Robert Reich. I just sent this video. This is his latest video that just came out today. I sent it to everyone in the Discord. Join the Discord. Link is in my bio. I just want to be clear. If the link's not working, you just copy it and paste it into your browser and you can join us. We smart people. That's all I can say. I'm in awe of how smart and informed and interesting people always are. It's amazing. Here, let me give me 1 second. Here we go. And so he's on, it's at RB Reich. He has millions of followers everywhere. Like he has millions and millions of followers on YouTube, on Facebook, on Blue Sky, on X, on everywhere, on TikTok. He's on TikTok at RB Reich. It looks like Reich, but it only took us 6 months to realize it's Reich. And he's our de facto cult leader. If you don't know, he is the labor secretary for Bill Clinton, right? The only time we had a surplus in this country. He's the former labor secretary for Bill Clinton. He's now an economics professor at UC Berkeley, and he's our de facto cult leader. He just doesn't know he is. One day we'll tell him. One day we'll get close enough and tell him he's our cult leader, and he'll be like, what are you talking about? But yeah, Robert Reich is amazing. So yeah, he is on TikTok. You can find him on here. You don't even have to leave the app to do it. And there's one more, actually. Well, I have so many videos I want to show you guys today. So let me make sure I get the important ones, because I was going to talk about the protest, but then the immigration thing and money. I mean, when it comes to all of our well-being being drained, that is where I start losing my mind. Okay, here we go. Oh. Sorry. I don't want to just go off. It's not a tangent. It's all relevant, but I love Eric Swalwell, and Eric Swalwell made this. Oh my God. I have some things I need to read. Eric Swalwell made this video that is, I just love dry sarcasm. You know, like when an intelligent person is just like, I'm about to do something very dry, very sarcastic. MAGA might not even understand what I'm about to do. Like, I'm here for it. Let me say, does he have a degree? Was it certified by Rod Vera? Oh, that's Lahua. I love you. Thank you for becoming a member of The Enemy Within for 2 more months. You're amazing. Johnny, thank you for the super thanks. You're the best. Or the super sticker. Frankie, you're the best. Thank you for all your support. I will support you as long as I can. Continue to use that brain of yours to help us out and keep us informed. Don't make me cry, Frankie. I'm so glad we met and we all get to hang out together. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Give me 1 second. Okay. Eric Swalwell made this video. And again, it's at Swalwell Eric. This is a TikTok video. He's on TikTok. It's Swalwell Eric, like backwards. But here, let me just show you really quick. So in case anyone needs to see. Swalwell, SWALWELL Eric. If you want to find him, because this is what I love about Eric Swalwell. Just the dry sarcasm.
Doing such a great job, right, with his second term. Ain't nobody asking him to do a third term. And yes, it's unconstitutional. Number 4, Trump said Canada would be the 51st state. Again, all he's done with this bullshit is insult our allies. Many Canadians have told me our kids will not live long enough to see Canadians forgive America for what Trump has done. Number 3, Greenland. What dipshittery to send J.D. Vance over to Greenland to come back with the country hating us even more. Number 2, Trump promised to cut spending. Actually, Trump has spent more at a higher rate than Biden ever did. And number 1, Trump said jobs should be about merit. And look at these morons who are running our national security, putting classified war plans in a signal chat. Guys, this ain't it. 10 things Trump has gotten wrong so far. Nothing Trump has done has been right. Sorry to that woman in the red hat. We're going to need to get you a new hat.
It's Eric Swalwell. How do you guys not know who Representative Eric Swalwell, representing the great state of California? Trump despises this man. But if you want to look, this is a TikTok video. It's Swalwell Eric. It's his name backwards. So here. Oh, you guys can't. God, that's so weird how TikTok does that sometimes. Hold on. I have to screenshot it so it'll show up here. Swalwell Eric, if you want to look him up. But yeah, he's in Congress. I love the music though too. People were saying, "Isn't this music relaxing?" Like I was like, "Oh, this would be good to play," even though I'm probably going to get a copyright violation on YouTube or something. But I love that music. Like sometimes you just need to relax, and I've been very stressed out lately. And there's something about that music. I was like, and Eric's voice. I'm just like, okay, talk to me. Keep tapping the screen. We've sort of stopped tapping. I have all the faith in the world that we can get to 300K as fast as possible. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me while I take us on a journey. I promise I won't let you down. I have so many. Oh my God. I've got so many good things. Do you guys remember does anyone know who Aiden Ross is? I know the probably average age in here, like no, people are like, who the F are you talking about? Remember the kid? I've told you guys about Aiden Ross. His claim to fame, he's a famous like streamer. His claim to fame is like he smells people's chairs after they sit in them. He's like Barron Trump like idolizes this kid. He has millions and millions of followers on YouTube, and Trump like went on his live stream, and the kid gave him like a wrapped Cybertruck, and then like helped, like this is the reason the red pill little Gen Z 18-year-olds voted for Trump, was because of Aiden Ross. Well, this is another FAFO. Aiden Ross can't understand why he's poor because his brain doesn't work. So I just love when these people who like, yeah, you got Trump elected and now you lost all your money as a result of it, and you seem very confused as to why. And then I like to watch people explain to them why this is happening. This is like Barron Trump like idolizes this kid. And if you don't know the Bulwark Media, it is a good account to follow. The Bulwark, I follow them on Substack, on X, on Blue Sky, at Bulwark Media. This is a great account to follow if you don't follow them. The Bulwark has great reporting. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I had to reopen the presentation. You're going to die laughing. Let's tap the screen. Let's get to 350K. This is my Cash App and Venmo. If you would like to support me, all this research I do because of your tips and donations, and they're highly appreciated. And moreover, if you would like to subscribe, that that yellow star in the bottom left-hand corner is to subscribe. And I'm trying to get back to 400 subscriptions. Prepared to laugh.
Hey guys, it's Twitch streamer that is friends with Barron Trump, Aiden Ross. He's having some sads. Some bad things are happening to him right now. And he has some questions that he's asked his viewers about why his stocks have gone down so much. And I want to answer them for him. But let's watch together first.
Guys, you want to be honest with you? I don't know how many of you guys are invested in crypto or stocks. What the fuck is going on with our country? Guys, why am I poor? Like, what is going on in the world right now? Why the fuck is this going on? Can somebody please explain what's going on? Why are we all losing? Why are we all negative right now? Like, does anybody know why?
So I can answer that. I can answer what's happening in the world right now. You helped elect Donald Trump, you fucking moron. You thought you knew better. You thought he was based. You thought you could play video games with him and get the Gen Zs to pay back the wokes and the annoying people that you don't like, the scolds that don't like it when you do racist shit. And you thought that he'd make you rich because he was a fake rich guy who bankrupted his company 1 billion times before you were even born. But you don't know how to read. So you didn't read the old stories about how Donald Trump's been bankrupt over and over and over again. And he's not a real businessman. He's a pretend TV businessman. And you were a key player in helping get him elected. So if you want to know why you're getting poor right now, Aiden Ross, let me show you a video that helps explain it.
Check out this rap and let me know your honest thoughts.
I think it's incredible. That's why. You're poor because you helped elect Donald Trump. And now, you and all the fucking rest of us are dealing with the consequences. So there you go, Aiden. Hope that clears things up. Donald Trump, not an economic genius. He played one on TV. Actually a moron who got bankrupted a lot and has decided to put in the stupidest tariff regime in American history. Downstream effect of that, our chart goes down. Good.
I can't. Like, don't you love this? I could watch these all day. Oh, watching Joe Rogan be like, hey, Trump is just disappearing people. I played that one the other day. Hey, do you guys notice that Trump is just like disappearing people? Oh, I forgot. I have another Brad one. Oh man, I have a lot of these. In between, like, I have all this protest content, which I feel like we all kind of saw, but then I also was like really annoyed. Yes, I'm annoyed by I'm annoyed by a lot of things. So I found all of these examples of people embarrassing other people. I forgot I have another Brad one that's really good. Oh God, this girl. It's almost worse than the first one I showed you guys. Again, if you want to follow Brad, that is his handle on TikTok. Here it is. If I need to show it again, I can show it again after. But just every time I show one of these videos, everyone's like, how do I follow him? Like, this is how. Oh, thank you, Jeremy. It's so good to see you too. Thank you for the $5 for your tuition. Can't wait till adults get school vouchers. Then I'm going to be cleaning up. Here's another sad person that's about to tell us we are the ones who don't know what we're talking about. I could watch these videos all day long. Tap the screen. Let's get to 350K. Thank you guys for continuing to tap the screen. I appreciate it more than you know. Oh, sorry.
Trump just proved to everyone that he is the ultimate negotiator. This is the chart of the reciprocal tariffs that he presented, and most of these are not even half of what the countries are charging us. But this is actually a great starting point. They're not so high that it would start a trade war and piss everybody off, and they're not so low that we're not getting anything out of the deal. And that right there is the piece that the Democrats and the mainstream media have been missing this entire time. We can renegotiate the tariffs they have on us, and it will make our products cheaper now. I mean, honestly, Trump kept saying,
are the least intelligent person on this planet, very possibly right now. How do these people say this stuff? I don't know. Like, how could you be that wrong? These people could not find their way out of a paper bag if their life depended on it. This is how Trump got elected, like with her full chest. She's sure. Do you know what tariffs are? These aren't even tariffs. Like, made up numbers. And she's like, yeah, I figured it all out, guys. Don't worry, out of my way. I know what's going on.
Trump just proved to everyone that he is the ultimate negotiator. This is the chart of the reciprocal tariffs that he presented, and most of these are not even half of what the countries are charging us. But this is actually a great starting point. They're not so high that it would start a trade war and piss everybody off, and they're not so low that we're not getting anything out of the deal. And that right there is the piece that the Democrats and the mainstream media have been missing this entire time. We can renegotiate the tariffs they have on us, and it will make our products cheaper now. I mean, honestly, Trump kept saying short-term pain for long-term benefits. All I'm seeing is short-term benefits and long-term benefits.
Well, Lilo, that's because you're in a cult, unfortunately. But here in reality, when all the prices go up at the store and the stock market totally collapses, we wouldn't call that a short-term benefit, like at all. You know, we would probably call that a short-term total fucking disaster, okay? Now, Lilo, I'm glad that you enjoyed Trump's big fake chart full of nonsense. And I appreciated your Goldilocks review of the numbers, stating that they are not too high, not too low, but they are just right. As if you would know, Lilo, as if you would know how high or low a number should be before a trade war pops off. Oh, well, I guess you didn't fucking know, so add that to the list of things that you don't know. Now let's get back to this fake chart, Lilo. Okay, you see that entire blue and white column? Every number in that line is fake. All of them are lies. Let's just knock out a couple of them. Trump says that the EU is tariffing our ass at 39%. No, that's a lie. The actual number is somewhere between 1 and 4.8%. Now let's talk about Cambodia. 97%? God, you guys are gullible. So the actual number is around 30%. Okay, so not 97. So that is another lie. And Lilo, we're tired of using squishy language with you guys. This chart is not an exaggeration. It's not, he's negotiating, bro. He's not being taken out of context. This chart is a bullshit, easily disprovable fucking lie. Just like the charts that Elon shows you with babies stealing from the government or 300-year-old people taking Social Security. These are lies. Easily disprovable bullshit fucking lies. And Lilo, you guys would know this if you ever had the courage to check whether or not Trump and Elon were lying to you. But you don't have the courage to check that because you know that if you did, you would find out that they are outrageously full of shit and your entire worldview would crumble overnight. Kind of like the stock market. You know, kind of like that. Anyway, Lilo, let us know when all those short-term benefits start kicking in. All right? And in the meantime, have fun over there with your fake chart full of nonsense. All right, good luck.
So much winning. Can we all tap the screen aggressively and get to 400K? I just got a violation for harassment and bullying. Was I being mean? I feel like I'm the nicest person on this app. Like, am I ever being mean? I barely ever even swear. Like, I get violations for nothing. And we do love the TikTok shop. Thank you so much. Just there for the dad jokes. Exactly. We love the TikTok shops. We are purchasing so many necessary things from there all the time. I know. Well, I was on Fax's live earlier. Our live got taken down. I don't even know. It's just there's people that are having trouble dealing with the fact that they are not right. I think it's painful that you are not right. That doesn't mean I'm harassing you. If the truth feels like harassment, my advice would be to ask yourself why. Why, when people present me with the truth, do I feel like I'm being harassed and bullied? That would be, I do love the artificial flowers in the TikTok shop. Thank you, Ruthie. Amazing. Astute observation. I as well have purchased a few of those, and I recommend everyone else does as well. So many things to buy in the TikTok shop. But honestly, I wouldn't even harass someone. It's like a waste of time harassing people. Now, stating facts that maybe people have no idea what they're talking about, that's not harassment. That's just, these facts are incorrect. It's amazing, like, how like the Trump administration went from being like, we don't have the free speech to say bigoted, horrible things. And now they're like, people are being mean and pointing out the truth. And I want people to stop using numbers and facts to say I'm wrong. It's so fascinating to watch this happen. Julie, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you for your intelligence and dedication. Thank you, Julie, for being here and being able to follow along, because God knows whoever keeps reporting me for harassment and bullying probably could not. I'm sorry that people feel like this is harassment and bullying. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you guys. I want to show Trump is doing this whole, if you were here at the beginning, I was showing like Trump's absolutely out of his mind post this morning where we're basically having Liberation Day, the sequel, on Wednesday, in case you thought it was over. China has like 36 hours to like get in line and take back their reciprocal tariffs, or we are, I don't know, what is it, like 50% on top of the other stuff, like, or is it 50%? I mean, who knows? But basically, if China doesn't back down, which why would they back down? I don't think they're going to, but then we're going to have like another Liberation Day on Wednesday. And I want to show you guys, like, it's not that these reciprocal, oh my God, I love Dia de los Muertos. Thank you so much for the gifts. I love them so much. Thank you. And subscribe on TikTok. Let's make TikTok some money so they aren't so mad at me, even though I was not harassing and bullying anyone. Every time, I really rarely even get in trouble on the internet. And somehow I'm always on trouble. I'm the nicest person that is always blamed for something on this app. So yeah, the least of our problems are the reciprocal tariffs. And I have heard very few people talk about what China is actually doing that's going to cripple our economy. And let me just present you with what we should really be worried about. We should be worried that everything is going to cost like 200% more coming from China. But let me show you what they're up to this weekend that is going to truly ruin our economy. And like actually why people like Bill Ackman, like the tech bros, are like, wait a minute, what? Say what now? Like, what is China going to do to us? This is real life, people. This is what Donald Trump has done to the U.S. economy. Let's tap the screen. Let's get to 400K. I'm going to update everything right now. Thank you guys so much for your tapping and your Cash Apps, your Venmos, your gifts. Oh, I love a wand. Thank you for the wand. This is the most dangerous thing that China has done to us over the weekend.
China's about to go nuclear on American intellectual property, and they are not messing around. So intellectual property rights on American design products is really key to allowing America to sell premium products globally. So think iPhone, think Dyson vacuum cleaners, think Microsoft Word. So until recently, China has actually put in restrictions on copying of American goods, mostly to meet international trade regulations. But a couple of days ago at the China State Council meeting, they basically said, we don't care anymore. If you put in tariffs on us, we are just going to open the doors for IP infringement. We're going to copy everything that American businesses create, and we're just going to sell it at like 5 cents onto the dollar. Essentially saying that we're going to undercut all of your products. They're going to become worthless, and the rest of the world is going to benefit. And because China has the manufacturing capacity to do this, they can build American products, American design products at scale. They don't have to circumvent the quality anymore like they used to have to, right? With a patent, you have to go around and make slight alterations so the product isn't as good. But they're now saying, we're just going to copy it one-to-one, and our products are going to be just as good as yours. You design them, we don't care. And we're just going to make the money off it because you're hurting us.
You guys getting it? Don't worry about the tariffs. They're just going to say, we don't care about your intellectual property. And by the way, I want you to think about it. We offshored all of our manufacturing. So it's not even like we can, they manufacture this stuff and they're just going to be like, yeah, we're just going to manufacture it, slap a different name on it and steal it from you. Because that's the biggest announcement. And that's why when Trump's like, China needs to back down, I would assume he's probably more talking about this. Because it's like, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is we will be crippled. We, as in middle class and lower class, will be crippled by tariffs. He won't. But the intellectual property thing, I mean, that will cause his own billionaire lackeys to mutiny against him. That is what Tim Apple is very upset somewhere. Tim Apple's like, I paid $5 million to sit on the Mar-a-Lago terrace, and now you've done this to me. Yes, Tim Apple is not happy. All of the factories are already up and running in China. They're just gonna like change the name on them and be like, yeah, this is our factory now. Thanks. Don't worry. Liberation Day 2 should be really interesting. What could go wrong? I think it's going to be amazing, you guys. Nothing to worry about. Just just going to take all of our intellectual property and steal it. I think that's fine. Oh, yes. I love Adam Mockler. I want to show you guys this clip. Adam Mockler works for Midas Touch, but I like all these clips of, like the FAFO Trump voter stuff. I'm a little bit obsessed. If TikTok Studio would stop closing every time I open it, give me 1 second. We're going through and finding all of the best stuff. I have all the best people and the best videos. I love this kid. And I just say, I don't mean kid disrespectfully. I just mean he's very young compared to me, but great brain, amazing brain.
One Trump voter said, "It's no secret I voted for Trump, but I didn't vote for a global trade war. He better fix this strife immediately if Republicans want a chance to keep the House or Senate. 71 million Americans have a 401k. We are the world's largest consumers." He then says, "I believe this is a huge miscalculation." Another person said, "I voted for you, Mr. President. I carried so much water for you and convinced my wife and kids who did not want to vote for you. You are standing idly by as the market crashes." Hey, excuse me. Trump's not standing idly by. He's walking around the golf course right now as the market crashes. They said, "I lost more than 100K in 2 days. Do something. I'm regretting my vote, sir." What about this one? "I am down 400K in the market since Trump took office, with about a third of that today. I may really like a lot of his policies, immigration being the biggest one, but he's costing me a lot of money." This one said, "These tariffs are going to destroy his entire agenda. They are going to make people hate him. Personally, if this continues, I will be voting blue in the midterms." It is kind of shitty to promise lower prices on day one and then spend the first few months doing exactly the opposite. Basically, inflation on steroids.
I agree, Adam. They only care because they're the ones who are getting hurt. Exactly. That's the point. The only time you see now, you all of a sudden, that's what I'm saying. These tariffs, what Trump is doing now, all of a sudden, the rich people are like, wait a minute. I didn't know we were going to hurt me. Like, I don't like this anymore. I knew I had something. I have so many things to show you guys. I have to show you guys something. Nancy Mace is. So I was talking to you guys about Nancy Mace. Remember how she said someone shook her hand too hard and then she had them arrested for assault, and they recently dismissed those charges? Well, she's another one of the ones. She's from, I can't remember the district number, so I'm not going to guess. I was going to say 1st District in South Carolina, but I can't remember. But like Charleston, South Carolina is her district. And she's one of these people that is refusing to show up for a town hall. And they're like, so her constituents sent her like a certified letter for like $4 or something, demanding she show up for this town hall. Republicans are out of their minds. Nancy Mace, I am going to be so happy when she is not reelected. Who behaves this way? Who makes a video talking to your constituents and mocking them like this? This can't be the smartest move for you, Nancy, but okay, she's serious. This is this weekend, like during the protests. And this is what Nancy Mace is doing to her constituents who just are like begging her to show up and address them.
So we just checked our PO box. It's from March 15th, and it's the Low Country Accountability Alliance. Hey guys and girls, they spent $5 to send me a certified mail invitation. That's what the left does. They waste so much money. $5.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's $5. Why? If $5 to try to, you're worried about your Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid disappearing, and so you pool together all your money and spend $5 to try to contact your congressperson. Is that a waste, or is that? I mean, I don't. That's a waste of money.
On a stamp to send me an invitation via certified mail that I didn't get in time.
Yeah, that's beyond a filter, by the way. I don't like, yeah, this, I don't even know if we can call what's happening there a filter.
No, I didn't. And I'm not going to your town hall because you've had plenty of opportunity to show up to my town halls over the last 4 years, and you haven't. You haven't shown up to any of my town halls. Where have you been? Where have you been? Yeah, nowhere. But, yeah, it's just so silly. These people that were calling and demanding a town hall were threatening my life, my family's life, and my employees. I guess you guys should have been one. We've had plenty of opportunities to attend, and you'll have some in the future, more in the future, when you calm down and you stop threatening the lives of me and my employees and my family and constituents.
If that's true, then show it. Because I don't know if you guys know this. Nancy Mace has a long history of saying things like this, and then when people investigate, it's not true. So, and let me help you. This same way with them being like the Biden crime family. If you had one shred of evidence connecting Joe Biden to a crime, he would have been impeached. We would have been having a trial. So if in fact any of that is true, Nancy, then show us. Prove it. You would have the Capitol Police. Someone, excuse me, and I'm quoting the police report now, aggressively moved her arm up and down for 3 to 5 seconds in a handshaking motion that made her arm flail up and down. And she had the Capitol Police detain that person for assault. Turns out, all the charges were dropped because there was nothing. But this is a person that wants me to believe that this has happened, that she's been the victim of this. She had somebody arrested for a aggressive handshaking motion that caused her arm to flail up and down for 3 to 5 seconds, where there were tens, and I mean tens, of witnesses who were like, yeah, we were all standing there. That's not what I saw. So you're telling me now that this is your reality and you didn't call the police? Liar. Like, Nancy Mace is out of control. Just saying. I can't even stand this stuff anymore. Oh, now I remember. I have so many things I need to show you guys. I played this on Faxes Live, but it's better when you see the clip because it's important. So Barack Obama was giving a talk this weekend. And I want you to just think about this and picture what Trump is doing to all of us right now. And picture what they did to Barack Obama. They're still looking for Barack Obama's birth certificate. As we speak right now, they are still looking for Barack Obama's birth certificate. Thank you so much. Tap the screen. We're almost to 450K.
Imagine if I had done any of this. Let me just, I just want to be clear about this. Imagine that. Imagine if I had pulled Fox News' credentials from the White House press corps. You're laughing, but no, this is what's happening. Imagine if I'd said to law firms that were representing parties that were upset with policies my administration had initiated, that you will not be allowed into government buildings. We will punish you economically for dissenting from the Affordable Care Act or the Iran deal. We will ferret out students who protest against my policies. It's unimaginable that the same parties that are silent now would have tolerated behavior like that from me or a whole bunch of my predecessors. So, and I say this not on a partisan basis. This has to do with something more precious, which is who are we as a country and what values do we imagine?
Amen. Oh, if Obama had done any of this, imagine if he just was like, I'm taking over, Congress doesn't exist, I'm crashing the stock market, I'm consolidating the power in the executive branch, I'm grifting, I'm an active grifter, I'm stealing your money while you guys all watch. He would not be here. Can you imagine? And MAGA sits there. This is what I mean about being in cognitive dissonance. The same logic and standards you held this man to, if you were not an abject hypocrite, then you would hold Donald Trump to. But that's where your line of logic folds in on itself like a lawn chair. You are incapable of holding Donald Trump accountable the same way you held other people accountable. And that's how I know you're all hypocrites. David, thank you so much for the $10 for being you and to swear more. I'll work on it. It's because I was a teacher. I don't swear because I used to be a teacher. It's a habit to like not get started with it because then I could like go off and never stop. But yeah, I do sometimes like in private, but just not a lot in public. And I just want you guys to think about, I know what I want to do to you guys. I just want you guys to think about how Trump has been terrorizing us all and the irrational things he's been doing. And then I just want to show you a video. Just picture Trump in your mind and how awful he is. How if you actually do fact checks, it turns out nothing Trump says are true. Constantly gaslighting, grifting, taking money for himself, grifting his own followers in crypto scams, selling Trump Bibles when he's not religious, all that stuff. Now, I just want to remind you, because it's the same reason I'm showing you this stuff of Obama, because I was thinking about it this weekend. This is who MAGA demonized and said had to go. This guy, the nicest man on earth.
Come on over here, sit in this chair. Come on, Dad. President of the United States of America, Madam President. All right, slide you up. Well, welcome to the Oval Office.
Good to see you again. Meeting you. Oh, great.
I can't believe I'm meeting you. Your son. Oh my, what a thrill.
Oh, we love it. Thank you.
Whether it rains or pours, I'm
How you doing, man?
How are you? Well, how are you?
Better for seeing you. If you look around at all the busts and all the pictures, what we've done is to set a sense of what we want to do as administration. Two political heroes, Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King. Cesar Chavez.
I don't know if this is acceptable, but I'm gonna hug you anyway.
There's no greater job I have than protecting America's wrongfully held home. That folder right there, that's my schedule for the day.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I know. I brought some friends I wanted to see. Tell you what, closest I came to the moon was my moon rock here.
It's here.
Proud of you guys.
with empathy looked like. And someone I'm going to find it because that really annoyed me. A person who has no clue what they're talking about came in here and said he ruined the country. Like, this is why I had to stop debating on TikTok, because people who couldn't find their way out of a paper bag make statements like that. Whatever metrics you want to debate, I could debate you economically. We recovered the best in the G7 from the pandemic. That's simply not true. And Trump inherited a bull market and crashed it into the ground for no reason. And your claim is that Joe Biden ruined the country, which is actually a blatant lie. It's the inability to read and count that MAGA displays on a regular basis is hilarious. Like, oh, he ruined the country. That's how I know you can't read or count, but cool. Thank you for telling on yourself in my live. And if you continue to say things that annoy me, I will just block you, because I used to debate on TikTok, but I have no patience. Like, the level of intelligence is beneath me at this point. Like, he ruined the country. Really? Can you do math? Do you know what happened during the pandemic? Let me help you. A pandemic is a crisis that caused the financial markets to dip that nobody could plan for in this country. And then you just react to it. And what we did was recover the best in the G7 from the pandemic. Literally, Trump inherited a bull market. Look at the cover of The Economist. What all of us thinking people who can do math and can read and have degrees from college know is that what we thought Trump was going to do was waltz into the White House and just take credit for a great economy that was expected to expand, not contract. Now our economy, there's a 60% chance of recession, and it is expected to contract 3.8%. In fact, it was the exact opposite. We were going to lower interest rates 3 more times when Joe Biden left office. All of that is gone now. Trump crashed the economy, not because an unpredictable pandemic came along that no one knew was coming and we just had to react to it, because he's an insecure, mediocre person who wants to consolidate power and then make rich people beg him for favors while he extorts and leverages them. And you have the nerve to show up in my live when you can't find your way out of a paper bag to read and or count to debate the economy with me. Bless your heart. Ugh, men, how embarrassing. Such an embarrassment to yourself. It's just like, tell on yourself. Oh, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I would like to say something idiotic real quick. Do you have time to listen while I say something idiotic? Yeah, sure. I've been doing it my whole life. What is it? Can't wait to hear it. Never heard it before. Yeah, I wonder why you'd follow another mediocre white man who has no idea what he was talking about. God, how embarrassing. Bless your heart. You'll get there one day, or not, because here's what happens. You know who ends up on the left? People who follow lines of logic. You will probably wander around in the dark on the right for the rest of your life. That's what I suspect is your future. You will probably never move left. But I have talked to like 18-year-olds who voted for Trump who are super bright. And I've had very honest conversations and just been like, hey, you're too smart. Like, the more you read, the more you follow a line of logic, you'll just naturally move left because you don't want to be wrong. Like, I am quite intelligent and I'm an intellectual, but the facts are just on my side. That's the truth. I formulate my opinions and ideas based on data and facts. And when the data tells a story, then I tell that story. That's how I know I'm right. So, yeah. And then you're just some guy muttering incoherently. In no way is that depressing for you. I'll be fine, though. Sorry, but I digress. Anyways, it's 3:22. I think I'm going to call it right there because I was live since 5 a.m. with facts. I've now been live for almost 9 hours. So I think on that note, I'm going to just call it. And I need to text Matt, USMC Angry Vet. We might do a live tomorrow, and I will let you know as soon as I know if I will. I'll let you know in the Discord. I know, but I literally have been live since 5 a.m. my time. It's been a hot minute. It's it's over 8 hours now. I need to probably take a little nappy and get a snack. My blood sugar. You see what I just did there? I was kind of rude to someone. I mean, it was all the truth, and I was just saying the truth, but that's my sign I need a snack. Reset it too. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Oh, can we get to 450 really quick? Can we meet our goal before I leave? Thank you guys so much for all the support. I will show you guys this. I just want to remind everyone, and I've said this like a million times. I know April 19th is another big protest day on Saturday, but if you're going to be on the West Coast, Bernie will be in LA on this Saturday. I think doors open at 9 a.m. Yeah. Oh, here they are. It is Neil Young. I couldn't remember. It's Neil Young, Maggie Rogers, and Joan Baez. So if you are going to be around, just saying, not a bad duo. I'm sure they'll have even more guest speakers. That will be awesome. That will not be a bad event to attend. I know. I would love. I don't know. If it depends on how my exhaustion. It's important that I rest and don't work too hard. But yeah, I'm considering going, but I'm just not gonna I have to make sure I get rest because doing all of this research and stuff, it takes up a lot of energy. And I just am trying to learn not to overextend myself. But if I could be anywhere on Saturday, this is where I would be. Anyways, so I will thank you guys so much for 450K. Thank you guys for being such a great community and family. I love being with you guys. And like I said, I might do a live tomorrow with Matt, USMC, Angry Veteran. I'll let you guys know in the Discord. You can join the Discord in my link tree on Twitch, on YouTube, on TikTok. Just copy and paste the link into the browser. Because if too many people use it, it invalidates. It's a forever link, but it just keeps happening. And then I change it out. But copy and paste it into the browser, join the Discord. That way, whatever the updates are, or when I send videos out to everyone. Yes, Kami, I saw what you're saying. I just want to be really honest. I saw you say that multiple times. I went to university in Idaho, so I do care about what you're saying. I just don't have the information to speak on it. I don't, just to put it very bluntly, I do not know what you're talking about, but I will make it a point to look into it. So it's not that I'm hey, let me not talk about something important. It's just, I don't have the information and I don't know what you're talking about, but I do know that area of Idaho very, very well. I played Division I sports very near there. So I will look into what you're talking about and tell the story, but I'm not going to talk about something I have no idea what I'm talking about. So that's why it's not that I didn't see you talking about that. I'll look into it and then I will get back to you on that tomorrow. I'll make a note of it in my notes app right now. So I was not ignoring you. I'm not going to talk about something I don't, you know me. I speak when I know what I'm saying. So that's why I didn't speak. I'm not ignoring you. I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. And that's really depressing because I know that area very well. One of my favorite ski areas. RIP Pebble Creek. Anyways, I'll look into whatever you're talking about, and I really don't want to, but I will. And I'll get back to you guys on it tomorrow. I'll let you know in the Discord if I'll be live with Matt or not tomorrow. But otherwise, People's Receipts Wednesday, 11:30 Pacific time, 2:30 Eastern. And also, someone was saying something about debating and stuff. I do think I have another account, a backup account that has over 100,000 followers, and Fax and I are talking about doing a couple nights a week. Some debates. So that could be coming down, talking about doing that. So it's not that I will never debate. It's just I'm not doing it for my safes. I block people. This is my account where I block every person who annoys me. But I do have another account, and Fax and I have been talking about it for about a week. So that will exactly keep my peace. That will probably be coming down the pipeline. So I'm not saying I'll never debate. It's just not from this account. Yeah, exactly. America's not worth talking to. But some people want to see it, whatever. I was a Division I athlete. I like to compete. If you want to be embarrassed, like I said, if you want it, you can get it. It's just, I don't know why you'd want to be embarrassed, but you can if you want to be. It's an option. So I'll let you guys know, but Fax and I are going to talk tonight and we will discuss that. I'll let you know if I'm going to go live with Matt tomorrow. I will see you guys in the Discord. Thanks for being so amazing. Love you all. Later, Gators. I know, I don't either, Loris.